lineup, new logo, new uniform, and a new manager to guide them. This year, Houston is set to do battle in the new National League Central Division, where they hope the biggest change will come in the final standings. So watch closely. The boys of summer are ready to take the field for the season opener next. In Houston, Texas, Home Sports Entertainment presents Houston Astros baseball. And today, it's the Astros opening the season against the Montreal Expos. Well, it's opening day in Houston, and we welcome everybody to the Astrodome. I'm Bill Worrell, along with Bill Brown, and it's good to welcome you to another season of Astros baseball on HSE. And, in fact, there is a new face on baseball this season, Bill. We've got new alignments, we've got new divisions, we've got new ballparks, and it's a little something for everybody. A new division for the Astros, the Central Division.
It's an exciting time for them. They feel they have a good chance to win it. And across the field, the Montreal Expos, a team which won 94 games last year, is in a division with Atlanta and Philadelphia, but still with a very good chance with a wild card to make the playoffs.
Terry Collins said he had a dream that he won his first major league game as a manager. The only problem was Sandy Koufax pitched that game for him. He doesn't have that tonight.
He does have Pete Harnisch, and Pete has pitched one opener earlier in his career and pitched very well. Terry becomes the fourth Houston manager in a row to make his major league debut in an Astros uniform. So rookie managers at the major league level, nothing new for the Astros.
This is a veteran Astros team. There is one change, however. The right fielder, James Mouton, he is excited about opening up the season.
Well, Mouton has the whole package, Bill. Not only does he have a high batting average and on-base average, but he has power. His offensive talents began to be unlocked when he moved to right field.
Let's talk about the pitching matchups now. Harnisch, his second game as an opener for the Astros. He'll be going against a tough left-hander in Jeff Fassero.
Jeff Fassero is relatively unknown, and yet he had an ERA last year with not enough innings to qualify for the title, which would have been the lowest in the league had he pitched about 15 innings more. He was 12-5. Harnisch 16-9, had his best year. Harnisch went toe-to-toe with Tom Glavine 2 years ago in the opener, got the loss 2-0.
Well, let's get this season going. It's the Astros and the Expos as we start another year of baseball on HSE. We'll be back with the first pitch in just a moment. Houston Astros baseball on HSE is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher for that deep down body thirst. Nothing works better than Gatorade. By your South Texas Dodge dealers, we're taking Texas by the horns. By your local Sherwin-Williams paint stores. The pros know, ask Sherwin-Williams, a participating sponsor of Major League Baseball. By Coors Light, aged ice cold for that taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now. By the Houston Post, take a time out with the sports leader. And by Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart.
Treat the kids, 'cause Friday's all right. $2 a ticket on family night, 'cause it's Randall's and the Astros.
Friday is Randall's Family Night at the Astrodome. Stop by Randall's and get $2 general admission tickets, available 1 week prior to Friday home games.
'Cause it's Randall's and the Astros.
Randall's, this season, we're your ticket to the Astros.
Again, everybody, and welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, as we have Astros baseball 1994 coming your way on HSE. The Astros opening up this season against the Montreal Expos. And we'll set the defense for you for the Houston Astros for this game. Jeff Bagwell will be at first, Craig Biggio at second, Andujar Cedeno will be at shortstop, Ken Caminetti at third. In the outfield, Luis Gonzalez, Steve Finley, James Mouton will be in right field, and Scott Service has won the regular Doug's catching job this season over Eddie Taubensee, so Service will be catching the majority of the games to start the season, and if he continues to hit and field his position the way he did this spring, he will have that job all season long. So as you see, this is a pretty veteran outfit by Houston. Only the one change, and that's Mouton in right field. The veteran Pete Harnisch, coming off a 16-9 campaign with a 2.98 ERA. He's the workhorse of this staff. He's the man with the strong back. He's the leader, really, emotionally on this Astros team, in the clubhouse and on the field. And he's the man they're going to here, making his second opening day start for the Astros. He opened in 1992 here at home, and that was a 2-0 loss to Atlanta's Tom Glavine. In fact, the Astros had to open a couple of seasons with Atlanta and that strong pitching staff. Last season had to open against the Philadelphia Phillies, who went on to win their division, as you know. So this is another tough opener for Houston against Montreal, as the Houston Astros now take the field to begin this 1994 campaign. Here today, Southwest Airlines starting lineups, and it's a good one for the Expos. Marquise Grissom will lead it off. Mike Lansing will be at second base and hitting second. Moses Alou has made it back for the opener. I didn't think he could do it after breaking that leg last season, but he has come back, and he's hitting third in the lineup. Then it's Larry Walker in right field. Darren Fletcher will catch. Will Cordero at shortstop. Cliff Floyd. Here's a big, good-looking youngster at first base. Keep an eye on this year. Sean Berry will be at third, and Jeff Facero will be hitting ninth and on the mound. Felipe Alou will be leading his charges again this season. What a guy he is. He got his work much like Terry Collins did in the minor leagues. Of course, he had a great major league season as a player. A very even, disciplined man, good to be around. He knows his troops. He's got him a good team, and he'll guide them with a steady hand this season. And Terry Collins, of course, you met him in the offseason. You know about his enthusiasm, his love for the game of baseball, and his knowledge as he has coached, played and coached in the minor leagues. Was a coach with the Pittsburgh Pirates for a couple of seasons, in the Dodger organization before that. So Terry has all of the credentials now to be a major league manager, and he's getting his first taste of that with the Houston Astros today. And James Mouton, the newest member of the Houston Astros, and he earned it by putting up some great numbers in the minor leagues in Tucson last year. And this is his first major league game, and what a thrill it must be for this young man.
Opening day basically is a dream come true. I tell you, you know, ever since you start from T-ball all the way up, this is where you want to be. And now that I'm here, you know, I'm really excited.
Well, I asked him, did he actually dream? And he said, yes, I did. I dreamed that in my first major league at bat, I got a base hit. So let's see if dreams do indeed come true. Well, here to call the action for us all season long is Bill Brown. Bill?
Thank you very much, Bill. We'll check the umpires as we get ready to get going. And behind the plate's a big man, John McSherry, with Ed Montague at first, Charlie Williams at second, and Gary Darling at third. The Astros, in their history, have won 15 openers and lost 17. They've lost 4 in a row, haven't won since '89 in an opener. The Expos under 500 as well. They're 12-13, and they come off an 11-19 spring training record. They won their last 3. Here's Marquise Grissom, one of the most exciting players in the game. Taking all the way, Harnisch steams a fastball over the outside corner for strike one. That gets the crowd behind him. Grissom is making his 4th opening day start, his first as a leadoff man. Harnisch misses outside. It's a ball and a strike. Pete was not sharp the last time he pitched 4 days ago against Kansas City. He got the loss. In 5 innings, he was tagged for 10 hits and 7 runs, 6 of them earned. And Grissom drove in 95 last year. He fouls that one, and it's 1-2. But Harnisch, as Scott Service mentioned after that last trip to the mound against Kansas City, is an adrenaline-type pitcher, and it's flowing today, Bill.
It is, Bill. And, of course, spring training can get mighty old after a while. You're out there in front of smaller crowds. The stakes aren't as high, and so now he's ready to go.
And Grissom looks at a pitch high. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grissom had a nice spring. He really can set a marvelous tone for this Expos offense. Not only can he hit for average and power, but steal a lot of bases. And he won a Gold Glove last year as well. He hits it in the air outside the third baseline. Caminetti won't have a play. This is the first of a 3-game series. Game 2 tomorrow night, Doug Drabek and Ken Hill. Game 3 Wednesday night, Darryl Kyle and Kirk Reeder. Then an off day Thursday. The New York Mets will be here over the weekend. Harnisch, 27 years old, born in Commack, New York. Fly ball left field. Gonzalez in front of that big new scoreboard out there. 1 out. Got Grissom a little off balance, Bill.
Yeah, he did, and this is the scoreboard you were talking about. And they'll have the new scoreboards in left and in right field. And you'll see that's going to rob some people of some home runs. If you hit it right over that yellow line, there's the scoreboard. Then it goes back to its normal height from left field around to the other scoreboard in right field. So I like the effect it gives. A little bit of the old scoreboard, the old days of playing baseball.
And there's a hollowed out area in straightaway center. We might get some interesting caroms. Mike Lansing had quite a rookie year last year for Montreal. There's strike 1 to Lansing. This is his first opening day start. And Lansing at age 26 is coming off a .287 rookie season. It's a ball and a strike. In straightaway center, Steve Finley's in front of that little area in which there might be a tricky carom.
Yeah, see, it's hard to tell. There it goes back a little bit. I thought Finley had a good quote, though, Bill, when he said that usually when a ball gets to that part of the fence, it's either out of here or caught. Very rarely does anybody hit one that hits off the wall. He can run them down with the best. There it is. That's a little better idea, and that's what he's talking about. It could hit on either side of that and bounce either towards right field or left field.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lansing takes. And the coaches were out very early today hitting fungo after fungo to tell which way the ball would carom and how much it would have on it when it did carom off one of those tricky corner areas. Harnisch missed outside, and he's at a full count now, 3-2.
Bill, I don't think the fences will bother Mouton as much as the ceiling here in the dome, and that's a test for the young right fielder now. This is a hard field to play during the day, and it just so happens that's his first game, happens to be a day game.
Popped up. Caminetti's over. Does he have room? He's over the railing and doesn't have a play. Well, doesn't it just figure that about 10 pitches into the season, Caminetti takes a spill.
Yeah, and the crowd loves it. There he goes to see, he feels his way along the railing, gets his bearings, and then goes for the ball. It was just a little out of his reach.
Giving in everything.
Yeah, the ball always comes back usually, and that's why the infielder needs to find him a spot that he can go get it from.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes to Lansing. And Harnisch gets a foul ball the other way. So it's a battle here as Mike, who really did a lot of effective work and came out of nowhere to help this Montreal team, is hanging tough as the number 2 hitter.
Hey, Lansing did a good job of fighting off a heck of a slider. I thought Harnisch might have him struck out on that pitch, and I think Pete did too, so Lansing stayed alive.
Lansing hits one in the air to right center. Biggio looks out at Mouton, and the new right fielder gets his first test and passes it for out number 2. It is a nice day outside, so this is a good test on a sunny day for that skylight problem.
Well, I just heard move. Do you think that's going to be the new Cruz? Now, this is what you look at. Now, you're getting a center field look, and that helps Finley out because they have painted most of the ceiling panels that go straight away center field. But Mouton will be looking up into the lighter area.
Moises Alou is back. He's back in a hurry after a severely dislocated ankle and a fractured fibula in September. He drove at 85.
Can't believe he's back.
Wearing an air cast, as you see, on that left ankle. And the plan is that he probably will not play tomorrow night. He has not played on consecutive days in spring training. This is his second opening day, and he was going to be here no matter what it took. Well, he's healthy enough to be here. And rips one to center. Finley got a jump, got back early, back in the well. 3 fly ball outs for Harnisch, and after 1/2 inning, there's no score.
Top of the first inning, the Astros coming to bat and will set the defense for the Expos. That's Jeff Fassero And we'll take a look now at Floyd at first, Lansing, Cordero, and Berry around the infield. Lou Grissom and Walker in the outfield. The catcher will be Darren Fletcher. And on the mound will be the left-hander and the veteran Jeff Facero. And like with most lefties, Facero received plenty of opportunities to emerge. He had a lot of years that he hung around in the minor leagues and just couldn't quite get there. He played in the minor league system for St. Louis, Cleveland, the White Sox before signing with the Expos as a minor league free agent. But then he really burst into the scene last year when they made him a starter. And he really came on strong at the end of the season. Here today, Southwest Airlines starting lineups for Houston. James Mouton will lead it off. Steve Finley, Biggio, Bagwell, Gonzalez, Caminetti, Service, Cedeno, and Harnish.
25-year-old rookie James Mouton is ready for his first at-bat in the big leagues. Native of Denver, Colorado. Grew up in the Sacramento, California area. Went to St. Mary's College. Had a good spring for the Astros. And there's a tough breaking pitch for strike one. Facero throws hard, and he led all left-handers in the National League in strikeouts last year.
Tell you what, he's got a good fastball around 90 miles an hour. He's come up with a pretty good split finger pitch. Good hard slider. And he'll keep you off balance. He's learned how to change speeds, and I think learning how to pitch with left-handers with good stuff like Facero, that's when they make it to the big leagues. They learn how to change speeds.
He's at 0-2 on his first hitter in a scoreless game in the first inning. Mouton, fair ball. He's got his first hit, and it's for extra bases. He's going for second.
What did the ball boy do?
Well, he touched it. It's going to be a double.
Oh, my goodness. Somebody's got to tell the ball boy.
Well, these are the senior citizens, Bill.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. The ball man.
Yeah, the Silver Stars.
I don't think they explain the rules to these fellas, but he went out and got that ball. Now here's the swing. Mouton, a mistake by Facero because he's up on the count. He got it too close to him. Watch this play. He's going for it all the way. You got to let the ball go, my man.
That is either 71-year-old Archie Gregory or 63-year-old Neil West.
I'll go with Gregory.
Okay. So it's a double for Mouton, and he's aboard for Steve Finley. Finley had a rough time this spring, a .266 average last year. He came on in the second half of the year. He'll be trying to advance Mouton to third here. The infielders pinch in at the corners. And he fouls back the bunt try for strike one.
Well, I think Mouton should believe in his dreams, because he said he got a hit, but he didn't say he got a double. Wow, what a way to start, huh?
He dreamed it, and it happened. Off a tough left-hander. Finley has had good success against Facero. 5 for 11 against this lefty with 5 runs batted in, but he's simply trying to move the runner here and give himself up with Floyd pinching in at first. Berry in tight at third. Good bunt. Facero will make the play at first, and the sacrifice goes from 1 to 3.
Now everything is working just the way Terry Collins and Bob Watson wanted it to when they envisioned putting Mouton in at the leadoff spot. You've still got Finley, who is a great bunter, who is good at hitting behind the runner and moving him over. That's exactly what Steve did. And now you got Biggio, who's got a little more pop in his bat. Now this is Finley laying down the bunt perfectly so Mouton can advance. And now Biggio, rather than being your leadoff hitter with a little more pop, 20 home run season, comes down in the third slot.
The Expos are conceding the run. They're playing their infielders back. There's ball one. That makes Biggio's job easier in some respects, although the third baseman Berry's in tight, and the first baseman Floyd couldn't make a play at the plate. Biggio drove in 64 last year, and he led the Astros in runs batted in this spring. So a ground ball up the middle will do it. The pitch crowds him, and it's 2-0. We talked about that the other day when the Astros were in Las Vegas, and Craig said it's so nice to have that runner on third with less than 2 outs and know when the infield back, all you have to do is put that ball in play to the shortstop or second baseman. But it's easy to say it also. It's 3-0. Jeff Bagwell waiting. Facero had a very powerful spring training. He struck out 32 in 25 innings. walking only 6. Very impressive numbers. And the 3-0 pitch, ball 4. Biggio takes the walk. First and third, 1 out.
Well, I don't know. Pissarro may have pitched around him. That might have been one of those deliberate jobs where you put Biggio on first and hope you can entice Bagwell to hit into a double play. Now what Bags has to do is try not to hit one up the middle now, because that would be a double play. Bagwell has had trouble with Pissarro. He's 0 for 8 against him lifetime, so that was the plan.
And Bagwell drove in 88 runs last year while hitting .320. So he's used to these situations as Pissarro goes to work. That's strike 1. You can tell the approach is different. Pissarro did get in front of him there, so he was cozying around Biggio a little bit, Bill.
He's got tremendous stuff. I really like it. He doesn't throw a straight pitch. Everything he throws up there has got some movement on it.
And when you think about him pitching 149 innings and striking out 140, that tells you about the stuff.
Yeah. When you do that in the big leagues.
Realizing that lefties with Atlanta like Tom Glavine and Steve Avery are not classic strikeout pitchers. Nonetheless, they pitch many more innings and didn't strike out as many as Pissarro. Bagwell takes, and it's a ball. 1-1. Expos looking around to see if maybe the Astros might be trying to use some speed here in this situation.
Well, Terry has talked about it in the offseason, said he may try to create some runs. He may try to use his speed, and Biggio, former leadoff hitter, is at first base, although his stolen base totals have gone down somewhat, but could have a double steal situation here also.
Bagwell takes, and there's another ball. It's 2-1. Favorable count here for Houston with Gonzalez on deck. Pissarro is 31. He's one of only 2 Expos age 30 or older. Began his career in the Cardinals organization, then the White Sox took him in the Major League draft, and he was released.
Watch for a pickoff move here.
There it is. Biggio does not have a really big lead at first.
Pissarro, I don't know whether that was his good move. A lot of times a good left-hander will show you a move that's not his best move, and then when he's trying to pick you off, he'll come with his #1 move, and he may have just been throwing over there. Let's see what they do here.
A little bit bigger lead now for Biggio. Another move.
See, he was looking at first all the way. A lot of times, I remember the old crafty left-handers that Carlton's and Spahns, the left-handers with good moves would look to the plate and throw to first. A lot of times he was looking at first both times he threw over there. It's really tough to get a hit and run or get something going against the left-hander for that reason, because he's got a good look at you.
Biggio goes, and the pitch is fouled. Biggio had an excellent jump. Bagwell had a good rip at it. It's 2-2.
He really did. Biggio was off and running, and Bagwell had a pretty good pitch to hit.
Now the catcher, Fletcher, goes out to talk it over with Pissarro. Matt Galante coaching at third. And at first base, Steve Henderson.
Good coaching staff. I'll tell you, Hindu has been around for a while. He has earned it up here. And, of course, Galante, I think, is one of the best minds in baseball. He's, if not a manager, he's a good man to have over there at third base, because he's in the game all the time.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bagwell, who in 1991 played in his first opener, went on to become Rookie of the Year. And he is down. Pissarro does a tremendous job striking him out for out number 2.
Well, you just look at the action on this pitch. That's almost a screwball. That's a watch the way the ball goes down and kind of away from the right-hander. So that's not your curve, but it's a screwball that breaks more than a screwball should. It's got a lot of action on it.
Pissarro set it up perfectly to pitch out of trouble, and now if he can get Gonzalez, he can keep this game scoreless. Luis, coming off a .300 batting average last year, drove in 72. Now he'll be batting 5th. Puts one in the air, left center field. Waiting for it, Alou to take care of the first inning. Promising start, but the Astros attack fizzled. No runs on a hit, 2 left. After 1, no score.
Of the first game of the '94 campaign. Here are today's Dodge League leaders, and this is last season as Pete Harnisch was right atop the National League and giving up only a .214 batting average against the opponent hitters, and he is tough,
especially inside the Astrodome with a career record of 23-13 and a 2.57 ERA. Larry Walker faces him. Fastball is high. Ball 1 to Walker, who's in his 5th straight opening day lineup. He's one of the stars in the National League. Drove in 86 last year. Won a Gold Glove as well. It's 2-0 to the right fielder, born in Canada, Maple Ridge, British Columbia. He was a hockey player as a young man. Walker hits one to left on a line. It skips by Gonzalez off that padding, and Walker gets a double. The carom gets away from Cedeno, and it's backed up by Caminetti. Walker worked to count 2-0 and hit it hard by Gonzo.
This is the type of hitter that Walker is, too. He's good at going the opposite way, and that pitch was on the outside part of the plate. He's also, you know, being a 2-0 pitch was something he was looking for, anything up that he could hit, and that was a good pitch for him.
Darren Fletcher will be trying to move him to third. Fletcher is batting 5th in the order. He caught the '92 opener for the Expos. Strike call. Last year he was playing part-time, and about the midpoint of the season he went into Felipe Alou's office and said, I want to play every day. And after that he did most of the time. Wound up with a very respectable season, and the Expos were 65-39 when he was the starting catcher. That missed inside. The count running to 1-1 on Fletcher. Of course, that cat and mouse game happens here between pitcher and hitter when Fletcher, a left-handed hitter, looking for something he can pull to get Walker to third base. The Astros are pretty much playing him as if to pull. He rips it to right. Mouton back for the catch. Here's Walker tagging and going to third, and the relay doesn't make it over. Cedeno took the throw from Mouton, but it had a little bit of a loop in it, and James had to back up to catch that long line drive.
I don't think he'll face another ball hit at him that hard. That was a tough chance in this type of lighting that we talked about in a day game, and he handled it well. He was feeling for it a little bit right there at the end, but that's about as well as you can play a ball hit to right field in the daytime here in the Dome. And now the infield for the Astros will be moving in.
For Will Cordero, it's his 2nd opening day start. Young shortstop is 22 years old, 2nd youngest player on the Expos right now. He drove in 58 last year. There's strike 1. Interesting to see the difference in managerial approach here to these situations. Runner at third, 1 out. Felipe Alou kept his infield back while Terry Collins brings his in. Fly ball goes outside the right field line and out of play. 0-2.
Bill, I think Terry Collins doesn't figure to get many runs off Pissarro, and he wants to keep his infield in and try to keep this game at 0 as long as he can. The other hand, I think Alou felt like he could score off Harnisch, even though Harnisch was very tough for opposing hitters last year. So that's just a difference in philosophy. You're right. And I tell you, the way Pissarro did throw in that last inning, I'd have my infield in too.
High chop. Cedeno can't play it. It's out into left center field, and the Expos take a 1-0 lead. Cordero, with an 0-2 count, chopped down on the ball and picks up the RBI. It is ruled a hit. Cedeno had to back up on it and then couldn't glove it cleanly.
Well, even if he'd have been able to catch it, the run's going to score anyway. This was, see, he just got, that was a typical AstroTurf hit, and the run on third could walk in even if Cedeno makes the play. So that was just exactly what Cordero wanted to do. Just get the bat on the ball and send it back up the middle.
Cordero aboard. 1-0 Montreal for Cliff Floyd. Floyd fouls it back for strike one. Believe it or not, with the Expos bringing all these exciting young players to the major leagues, only he and Rondell White are enjoying rookie status as this season opens. 226 in his limited time with the Expos. He had only 31 at bats with them. He had a monstrous year for AA Harrisburg and is one of the top rookies in the National League.
Well, it's fun to watch him take batting practice, isn't it?
He's been compared, Bill, to Willie McCovey, among others.
Yeah, I had read that, and I can see if he fills out a little bit more. Look at the size of this kid already.
6'4", 220. And it's in tight to him. A ball and a strike. Cliff is 21 years old. First round draft choice in '91 by the Expos. Born in Chicago, lives in Illinois, and has worked his way very quickly through the Montreal system. Only 3 years of pro ball, and here he is in an opening day lineup. He really runs well. Hits it to Gonzalez in left. Back for the catch for out number 2. Well, Harnish trying to limit the damage. Trails 1-0, and Barry's next.
Harnish, good job of tying up Floyd on the inside. You know, when you're 6'4", you got those long arms, you like to get them extended, and that's when a guy that big can use his strength, but Harnish really tied him in knots.
Barry, who came up through the Kansas City organization, was traded to Montreal during the '92 season. Last year he had 49 runs batted in, at 299 at bats. That's a pretty good ratio for that amount of playing time. Sean is 28. The Expos still trying to fill that hole at third. Ever since Tim Wallach left, they haven't found that solid third baseman. And Barry might be the guy. He could get that extra playing time to allow him to prove that this year. Harnish is back off the rubber. Now with 2 outs, maybe thinking that Cordero might be on the move here.
Every out that Pete has been able to get early in this game has been in the air. Cordero was able to hit that one on the ground, but it scored the run, so he's not getting any ground balls.
Harnish struck out only 5 this spring in 22 innings. He was not overpowering in spring training. Now he makes a belated throw over to first. Certainly when you go back to Pete's '92 opening start, that 2-0 loss to Tom Glavine, it's hard to find any fault with his work on that occasion. It was scoreless until the 8th inning. But that's been the plight of Astros opening day pitchers more often than not in recent years. The Astros have scored only 7 runs in their last 4 openers. Fly ball hit deep to left. Gonzalez is out of room. This is a monstrous 2-run shot by Sean Barry, and the Expos have a 3-0 lead. Well up into the mezzanine seats. Barry connects for his first.
Well, that pitch, I know that you'd like to have 2 or 3 pitches back when you're out on the mound, and this is pitch number 1 that Pete would like to have back because the location was right in the wheelhouse. Watch here. Boy. Up and in, not in enough. When you're going to pitch up in that direction, you've got to get it way in on the hands, and he didn't do that.
It's a long ball by a number 8 hitter. Now Facero, who enjoys the 3-0 lead, is the batter. And he swings and misses. Jeff Facero, when he was growing up in Illinois, used to go watch the Cardinals AAA affiliate in Springfield play quite often. He was a big baseball fan. Went on to the University of Mississippi. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jeff Facero, and now, could you have imagined this a year ago? Opening day pitcher. Dennis Martinez the last 5 years.
Well, yeah, as long as Dennis was around, but I can imagine it after seeing him pitch when he pitched in here at the end of last year. He had some great stuff. What an arm.
Facero, for his time in the major leagues, has a 2.48 ERA. Fouls this one back to stay at 2-2 now in the count. Well, the Expos with Martinez eating up all the innings last year are looking for Fassero to pitch many more innings than he did a year ago. Hoping that Ken Hill can do the same. Fassero swings and misses, and the Expos break in front in the second with 3 runs on 3 hits, nobody left. After 1.5, it's 3-0 Montreal.
Welcome back to the Astrodome, where the Expos have jumped out on top 3-0 as we head into the bottom of the second inning. And fans, we want to remind you about the Astros ticket shuttle schedule. Tomorrow, the shuttle will be at the Kroger store at 360 Farm Road, 1960 West in Cypress Station. And then Wednesday at the Randall store, 570 El Dorado Boulevard in Clear Lake. No convenience charge, so get out there and get your tickets.
Great McLean down there in his box with heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield, who threw out the first ball. George and Barbara Bush. Quite an array of talent there. 3-0 Montreal. Jeff Fassero throws ball 1 to Ken Caminetti.
George Bush threw out the first ball the last opening day against the Expos the Astros had in '84. So he didn't want to do it again.
Oh, you can probably always talk him into it. He's a big fan. 2-0, and we hope Evander has good luck with his heavyweight championship fight later on this month. Ken Caminetti in his 6th opener. He and Craig Biggio both playing in their 6th in a row for this club. And he's worked the count 3-0, just what the Astros want after giving up 3 runs in the top of the inning. Fassero might be overthrowing a little bit. Two teams played a close season series last year. The Expos won it 7-5. It's 3-1. They split the 6 games here in Houston. The Astros have only had 1 winning year out of the last 6 against this Montreal team. That was 1992 when they went 8-4 against them. Caminetti. Sean Barry plays it, and with a good effort gets out number 1. Well, Barry, who hit the homer, now turns in a nice play to his left.
Look pretty solid. If you're going to talk about a couple of positions in the infield, Barry might be a question mark, but not the way he played that ball. Did a great job going to his left, and we've already seen what he can do with the bat in this game. Remember, this is a team that won 94 games last year. This is a team that finished only 3 games behind the Phillies.
Now Scott Service was strike 1.
Got a ton of young talent.
Service was the catcher in the '92 opener when Tom Glavine and the Braves shut out the Astros. 11 homers for Scott last year, 32 runs batted in, and a fine spring putting him in this starting assignment. It's ironic. You would have expected him to start with a left-hander on the mound for Montreal, but a year ago Eddie Taubensee was the opening night catcher against a lefty, Terry Mulholland. So Service, as it's been declared by his manager, is the starting catcher against right-hander or left as of tonight, at least for a while.
I think he earned it. Boy, there's nobody that works harder in the offseason than this young man right here.
And he hits one diving stop by Barry. It's Sean Barry day so far. That's out number 2.
This Barry guy's getting old in a hurry.
Well, this was a spectacular effort on a ball headed for left field.
He's checking his elbow out like he may have gotten an AstroTurf burn on this dive as he dives to his left. That's Ken Caminetti stuff.
Yep. Fine play. Montreal team struggled in the field this spring. Now it's Andujar Cedeno. And Fassero just reached back and buzzed it by him. Strike 1. Cedeno's playing his 3rd opener. Really came into his starting position for good last year. Breaking pitch makes it 0-2 with Harnish on deck. These two teams have played only once previously in an opener, and that was 10 years ago. Montreal won it 4-2. Charlie Lee the winner and Joe Niekro the loser in Houston. It's a ball and 2 strikes. The Astros have only one pitcher on their club now who have a win over Montreal last year, and that is Brian Williams. Begins his season in the bullpen. Doug Jones won 2 last year, and Mark Portugal beat the Expos twice. In fact, Portugal was the winner when the Astros beat Jeff Facero in early September. Daniel calls time. In that game, Facero, who lost it 7-1, gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings. That was the only start of the 15 starts he made last year in which he allowed more than 3 runs.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is a good run of work. It's 2-2.
You can see that his problems would be, if he gets a little wild, his location of his pitches. But as far as his stuff, it's as good as anybody's in the league.
Cedeno taps it foul. It really is. Everything's hard. The split finger pitch hard, as we saw earlier. And for Facero, who throws strikes, just a matter of staying healthy, it would appear, and he could be in for a very big winning season, Bill.
Yeah, I think so, and they really need him to, as you mentioned before, to take up those innings pitched by Martinez, and I think with a remade staff, they could be very tough this year.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Both these teams have every reason to have high hopes as they look forward to 161 more games after today. Montreal was out in Vancouver over the weekend. Cedeno down on strike. Second strikeout for Facero. That ends the second with Montreal in front 3-0.
Lead, top of the 3rd inning, and fans, we want you to be sure to put Wall Calendar Weekend on your calendar. The first 20,000 fans at the Astros-Mets games this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will receive the 1994 Astros Wall Calendar courtesy of Exxon and your local Exxon retailers. Friday and Saturday's games are at 7:05. Sundays is at 1:35. So for tickets, call 6 Astros.
Pete Harnisch, trailing 3-0, goes out for the 3rd inning. The Astros have managed 1 hit off Jeff Facero. 2-run homer by Sean Berry, highlighting the Montreal second. Here's Marquise Grissom, who flied to left, leading off the game. And it's ball 1. And as Phil Boudreau has informed us, Randy Johnson of the Seattle Mariners has a no-hitter going through 6 at Cleveland.
That's one way to open up the new stadium.
2-0 Seattle, bottom of the 7th now. Line drive. Gonzalez got a good jump. 1 out.
All right, Pete, you got him popping up. Man, this ball was tagged, wasn't it? And he's just getting it up in the strike zone. Looked like a little off-speed pitch, but he got it right up around the belt.
Well, that's one hard hit ball for out number 1. Mike Lansing is next. He flied to right in the 1st. Rangers are trailing the Yankees 5-1 through 6. Kevin Brown started. He left in the 6th inning. Danny Tarnable and Mike Stanley have gone deep for the Yankees. Boston leads Detroit 6-4 in the 4th inning. Roger Clemens on the hill.
You know, the only pitcher to throw an opening day no-hitter was Bob Feller. And I wonder if it was in Cleveland.
I believe so. Have to check on that.
Probably was. That would put Mr. Johnson in some pretty good company.
Wouldn't it, though? Right at the brand new Jacobs Field. And, well, we'll get a look at those Rangers. Rangers and the Yankees Wednesday at noon, Bill, on HSE.
Get a look at the new Rangers team.
Of course, we saw them against the Astros here in the Dome for a couple of spring training games. Now it counts, and the Rangers are hoping that rotation will hold together, that they can get everyone healthy. There's a strike call to make it 3-1. Jack McDowell and Chicago are tied with Toronto 1-1 through 4. That's a tough opening series for both those teams. Both division winners from last year. Juan Guzman on the hill for the Blue Jays. Lansing pops it up. Biggio's in and calling. 2 outs. 3-0 Montreal. Another national National League games. St. Louis and Cincinnati are scoreless through 3. Cormier versus Smiley. As you know, they began the season last night with the Cardinals winning that one. And it's a 2-2 tie after 3 with the Mets and Cubs. Gooden against Morgan. Unlikely home run stars. Vizcaíno for the Mets. Hundley and Kent. Here's Alou. He rips one to left. Gonzalez back. And another hard hit line drive winds up in his glove for a 1-2-3 third. But the Expos got some good cuts. In the middle of the third, it's 3-0 Montreal.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Train. It's hard to stop a Train dealer.
Inside the Astrodome, it's Montreal 3, Houston 0. Pete Harnisch leads it off in the Astros third. Jeff Fassero had a threat right off the bat when James Mouton doubled to lead off the home first. Advanced to third on a sacrifice bunt, but Fassero slammed the door. That's strike one to Harnisch. Montreal, including the Sean Berry 2-run homer, has a 3-run lead. The Expos, a team with a lot of speed, hope that they can use that speed offensively and defensively with their pitching. They have an outstanding bullpen and may not need a whole lot of power if they're to have the kind of year they had last year. Pitching is really going to be vital for them. No balls and 2 strikes. Harnisch pops it back, and this one will be out of play for Fletcher. The Astros are 12-10 in their home openers here in Houston. Of course, that takes you back over the years to old Colt Stadium in 1962, where it all began, against the Chicago Cubs. Colt 45 swept their first ever series. Harnisch is down on strikes. Third strikeout for Fassero.
Now our Train tip: when replacing your cooling system, here's some steps to take. Make sure the contractor has a Texas State AC license. Get a written proposal. Check out references. For a qualified Train dealer, call 1-800-878-8000. Then cool. It's hard to stop a Train dealer.
James Mouton doubled in the first inning on an 0-2 pitch. That's the only Astro hit so far off Fassero. That's strike one. So as Mouton makes his way around the National League for the first time, Bill, he'll be building a book on the various pitchers after a tremendous season at Tucson.
You know, there have been comparisons to Ricky Henderson. You do see that some when you watch him swing, the way he goes after a ball. And he's pretty stout, too. When you get down next to him, he's not as small as he looks on television. He's a pretty thick kid.
Mouton, in addition to those numbers you saw, had a good stolen base year last year. It's a ball and 2 strikes, so the Astros are hoping that he can just keep doing what he did last year. He had 40 steals for Tucson. And it's 2-2.
And I like that, too, for a leadoff hitter. Now, he's taken a couple of tough pitches with 2 strikes on him to even up the count at 2-2. This is a pitch that looks pretty good. You're crowding the plate, and then it rides in on you. So you have to really have a pretty good eye to lay off that.
Up the middle. 2 for 2. James Mouton double, now a single.
That was a heck of a dream. He said he stopped after the first hit, but maybe he dreamed of 4 for 4. Let's hope so. Well, you know, the patience of Mouton paid off on this base hit because he got the count even to 2-2. He didn't go after a couple of close pitches. That made the pitcher Fassero have to come in with something a little better for him, and he got a base hit.
Steve Finley's the batter with 1 out. He put down a sacrifice bunt in the first. Third baseman Berry's in tight on him. Runner goes. Pitch a strike. The throw bounces, and first stolen base for James Mouton. Darren Fletcher's throw came up far short of the mark.
Well, the fans are saying if you got any more down there in Tucson, let's see them, because this is a pretty impressive start for a young man as Finley takes a strike. And of course, Fletcher didn't do a real good job of throwing that down there either.
The Astros trailing 3-0 now have Mouton at second again with one out. Biggio on deck. First major league steal for Mouton. Finley shows bunt again and takes. It's a 1-1 count.
You know, the Astros have had some good jumps on Cicero, so it doesn't appear he has a very good move for a left-handed pitcher.
Finley scuffled this spring for base hits. He did have 3 triples, though, and he led the league in 3-baggers last year. Started to come around in the last days of spring training. Second baseman Lansing. 2 outs. And now Biggio will have another chance to get Mouton home. Terry Collins' club did not do a whole lot of hitting in the final days of spring training. Astros offense was really rather lethargic in those final few games.
Bill, in this last situation, he pitched around Biggio because there was only 1 out, trying to set up a double play. He might come right after Biggio now with 2 outs.
Biggio to center. Grissom back. Still tracking it. For the catch. Milo Hamilton joins Bill for the middle innings on HSE. It's a 3-0 lead for Montreal.
Heading to the top of the 4th inning, Montreal leading at 3-0. Here is today's Coors Light HSE upcoming schedule. We'll have the Expos tomorrow and Wednesday nights. The New York Mets will be along Friday and Sunday, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates on April 26th and the 27th. Larry Walker leads it off here in the 4th, and we welcome back to the microphone for another season of Astros baseball on HSE, Milo Hamilton.
All right. I didn't expect to see you today.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
They got planes that fly between L.A. and Houston.
Okay, well, there's a high fly ball to right. Mouton back, still battling it, and he'll back right into the wall and make the play.
Oh, boy. He ran out of room in a hurry, didn't he?
I tell you, for a guy that's playing a game in this arena, he's handling it like he owned the place and maybe built it.
Well, he's got 2 hits. He really made a great play on a much tougher ball to handle in the dome, one that was right about eye level, and then going back to the wall to get that one. Well, he's right in the game.
Darren Fletcher, the catcher, line to right in the 2nd inning. A ball, and Cordero, their little shortstop, who got him on the board with a run in the 2nd inning. Then it broke out in a strange place later in the inning when the 8-hitter, Sean Berry, took Harnish to the left field mezzanine. There is 1 ball, 1 strike for the count here. Opening series, a lot of new things for the fans to see besides the new uniforms. You had a good look at that scoreboard when Mouton backed into it. That is a ball, I'm sure, that Mike and Esther have been showing you all of the new items here in the dome. Although I'm not sure Esther made it today. She has to work on Monday afternoons. Here's the 2-1. That's into the dirt a ball, and it's 3-1. All you have to do is mention it. There's some new things.
Well, that's Mike's top 10 list. And they've got all of the new general manager, coaches, uniforms, right fielder, closer, and a new look for Orbit.
Aha! That made the list. Here's a swing and a foul off to the right. What's Mike doing? Trying to become the Letterman of HSE television?
Well, that's what he's trying to be. I like that new look. I saw Orbit before the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to carry around as much.
Smashed on the ground foul past their first base coach, Luis Pujols, who played a game or 2 right here with the other uniform on. 3-0 Montreal. Ready for a payoff to Fletcher. Cordero's on deck. Harnish is struggling here today, Bill. He doesn't have his good stuff.
And he's up high with everything. The only ball, I believe Cordero's the only one to hit a ball on the ground. Everybody else has made an out in the air. They've hit the ball hard, and that usually indicates that Pete's up in the strike zone. And if he's up in that strike zone, he's got to have better than average stuff. Stottlemyre's up now, looking down the bench. Might see some action.
Cordero had a base hit in the second inning, drove in their first run, later was on base when Sean Berry homered. Now the stretch pitch is a good one. Sometimes that catcher puts down that deuce and makes you throw that breaking ball. Gives you a chance to get that control back a little bit. Are they still writing history in the new Cleveland ballpark, Boots? Still a no-hitter? Well, through 7 when I came over, so it's climbed up another frame. But it's gone now because Cleveland just got a pair in the 8th. Hit him on the fist, popped him foul over to the right. Wouldn't that have been something in a big new ballpark, and the guy from the other club puts a big Schneider on you?
Yeah, I imagine the fans and management there at Cleveland's a little happier right now. They tied that one up.
Well, if it would have happened, they'd have known how the White Sox felt back in 40 or 41 on opening day.
Mr. Feller, huh?
On the 16th of April when they opened a little later. And it was cold that day.
When isn't it not cold in Cleveland?
No, this was in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah, 35th and Shields.
Well, when is it never cold in Chicago?
Oh, have you ever been there in June, July, and August?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty.
You always go in the winter.
I know it. I can't. Boy, what a terrible winter.
Oh,
Chicago and
brutal.
Cleveland, all that area this year.
No wonder Jordan decided to play baseball.
He wanted a vacation in Florida.
Fly ball out into right center. Mouton takes charge, and he's there.
You think Mouton had any ideas how many plays right fielders make in this building?
Alomar broke it up, Bill.
Yeah, Alomar had a leadoff single in the 8th inning.
Then they went on to get a pair to tie that game in the Seattle game at Cleveland. Runner still at first here on HSE. Cliff Floyd, boy, if you think Mouton was ballyhooed, this big guy was too. Fly to left, his first time up. Montreal batting, leading 3-0, 4th inning. Now Floyd going to make Harnish wait a moment. Harnish wouldn't have to buy those stirrups, would he?
Where are they?
That's what I mean. High inside of all. Boy, that never happened. Dennis Laborio would say, goodness gracious, you guys are keeping me from my livelihood. Oh, there they are. There's a couple inches of stirrup. Harnish will check on that runner. A little tight. 2 balls, no strikes of Floyd, and Sean Berry batting in the 8th spot upset the apple cart in the 2nd inning when he took one about 8 rows deep above the auxiliary scoreboard and left. And the ones in light truly are an auxiliary scoreboard now because there's a scoreboard right below it. High pop. Should be routine for Caminetti. Squeeze it, Cammy. Side retired. A walk, they lead 1, and an HSE 3-0 Montreal.
Heading for the bottom of the 4th inning in the Astrodome opening day, and Astros fans ready for something magnetic? Then be at the Dome this Wednesday at 7:05. The first 45,000 fans at the Astros Expos game get a 1994 Houston Astros magnetic schedule, courtesy of Super Talk Radio 950 KPRC. For tickets, call 6 Astros.
That War Rally's in mid-season form here today.
What sport?
Here's Bagwell. Bagwell missed a golden opportunity to pick up his first RBI in that first inning. The runners at first and third, and he struck out swinging. Astros really missed a chance to jump on Facero in that opening frame. Now a line drive single to center. Hung out a rope. That hit is vintage Bagwell.
Yeah, it is. Boy, he took it right back up the middle, and he hit it hard, too. Now, if you make a mistake on Bagwell, you better make it down a little lower, because watch again from up here. That's right over the plate. And you're just not going to fool him with anything in that area very often.
Now Gonzo will step in with Bagwell at first. Gonzo flied to left in the opening inning. Astros have evened him in the hit column. They've got some work to do to get on the run column here. A little tapper. Left-hander will throw to short. That'll be the only play. Shortstop almost lost the ball, but he grabbed it with his bare hand. So it is a 1-6 force. And Facero, the thing that made the play for him, he never hesitated. He knew he was going there right away.
No, he did. The only break the Astros might have gotten here is if he'd thrown wildly to second, but that's as good a strike as he's thrown today.
Caminetti will be the batter. Bagwell back onto the bench. Caminetti got a dose of his own medicine in the second inning. Barry made a good play to rob him of a hit. That's a ball, and it's 1-0. Scott Service on deck. He also got robbed in the second inning by Barry. Doesn't Barry know this is Caminetti's show place?
That's probably, you know, most third basemen, when they come in here, that elevates their game a little bit, knowing what kind of third base Caminetti plays.
Works on Gonzo, doesn't get him.
Well, he's really beefed himself up this season, too, and I mean, it's all muscle.
Well, it's all in the right places. He's in the best shape he's ever been in. 1 ball and no strikes. Long look. Runner going. Bouncer short. Throw to second. No good. It goes into right. We really got a break there. I'm not sure Cordero had a play. I think Gonzo had the play beaten. And then he got there when the ball got there, and it scooted off into right center. It'll be runners on the corners and only 1 out. Now you got to take advantage of it.
I think you called it right off the bat. Now, here's a good break. He was running, and so that's an advantage right there, as Gonzalez was running on the play, and he would have beaten that throw. There's no doubt about it, and I think that's what happened. Cordero, at the last instant, he saw that he really didn't have it. He tried to whip it over there a little faster than he normally would, and he threw it into the outfield.
E6 is the call. Error shortstop. There's your new skipper, Terry Collins. 2 guys standing there beside each other. Spent about 4.5 decades between them in the minor leagues. Julio Linares. There is a ball in the dirt. Good block of it by Fletcher. E6 allowing Gonzo to come on over to third. Caminetti's on first with a fielder's choice. And good stop. Fletcher has really turned into a pretty good catcher for them. Look at him go down in here and get it, Bill.
Yeah. Actually, I think most catchers would have gotten on both knees to try to block that, but he had that runner on first base, and he wanted to try to keep him there, and that's what he did.
Runners on the corners, only 1 out. Service with a chance to get us off. That's Schneider. Strike called. He burnt one on an outside corner. Facero really has good stuff. Elevating him to the starter's role was no accident. He does a lot of different things with his fastball, a lot of action on it. Good hard slider, and a forkball for an out pitch. Last year, when he relieved against us and started, we really tattooed him. The year before, we couldn't touch him. High pop-up. Man, oh man. Cannot put that ball in play when you need to get a man in from third. Service has popped up to the third baseman. It's 2 away. And Facero, I guess you got to give him some credit, too. He's getting outs when he needs them.
Yeah, he made a good pitch. And now Cedeno with a chance to get the Astros on the scoreboard, and he didn't look very comfortable up against Facero his first time at bat. He just never really had a good swing at all.
Now, with the pitcher due up next and our bullpen working, Kerrigan's going out there saying, look, Harnish is due up next.
But he won't bat.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's telling him. He's telling him, go ahead now. And
got to go after the hitter here.
you made Cedeno look bad, so we know how to pitch him. Let's go right after him, because if Cedeno gets on, they're going to go to the bench.
We saw two widely diversified thoughts about how you play it in an opening inning today, too, early in the game. Astros drew the infield up, and it cost them. They played theirs back, and they got away with it.
Although, had the Astros been playing back, they wouldn't have been able to get the out at the plate anyway. I don't believe. That ball was hit very high in the air, back up through the middle.
But it cost them 2 runs. Here's a working on the runner at first, not close. Caminetti is at first. Gonzo is at third. We're in the 4th inning. Montreal has their left-hander Jeff Fassero starting today, and he is leading 3-0. Cedeno could give his club a pick-me-up right here. Ball. Drabek pitches tomorrow night. After a couple of wobbly starts in Florida, he came back with 3 excellent ones. And he'd like to carry that right on over into tomorrow night. There's Triple D from Victoria and a former Cougar. Boy, he just got him chasing that thing.
Yeah, you really, a guy that with as good a stuff as Fassero has, you've got to make him work. You can't help him out as much as Cedeno's helping him out. Now, there's no way in the world that pitch is anywhere close to a strike, and there he is swinging. He should be at 2-0 right now. Then he'd be getting the pitch he wants.
You swing at a ball in that location, it needs to be on a tee, and you need to yell 4. That one took off up and away. Now let's see if that pitch had a little purpose to it. Gave him one up and away. See if he throws him that good sinker. Does he throw him the forkball? Forkball is his out pitch for a strikeout. As you look in there, one of the most famous baseball scorekeepers of all time, Barbara Bush, right there in your picture. Base hit. Run scores. And a big tonic from Cedeno. Gonzo scores. Caminetti to second. Cedeno with the base hit that gets the Astros on the board and cuts the lead to 2.
That was really a good job by Cedeno, but really the first mistake Fassero has made. He really got a pitch up where he didn't want to and hung it right up in front of Cedeno. Now, he's been pitching him very well, but see, that ball just kind of hung right there. It wasn't down in the strike zone like the previous pitch had been.
And you could tell where Fletcher was. He wanted it down, and now Harnish will bat. Harnish struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. Astros about hit him 4-3, but still trailing the score. Montreal leads it 3-1. The Yankees in the Bronx Zoo have the Rangers down 5-3. White Sox leading Toronto 2-1. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Fouled off into the edge of the screen. Well, I tell you, between the new scoreboards and flashing up the scores on the place we've always been able to see them right above it, and the folks who bring, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to say that. Some folks do bring their radios, and they get the scores, too. You get service here, don't you? And Harnish trying a surprise party, but he got the surprise. Strikeout. Astros settle for a run on 2 hits. An error that helped. 2 men are left. And there it is, an HSE 3-1 Montreal.
3-1 Montreal, top of the 5th inning, and we want you folks to see the Dome as you've never seen it before. And this Friday, when Randall's presents a post-game laser light spectacular following the Astros-Mets game. Get your tickets today at the Dome box office, Ticketmaster, or you can call 6 Astros.
Starting off the fifth, Sean Berry, who hit the 2-run homer in the second inning. That's their margin right now in a 3-1 lead. And there wasn't any doubt about it when it left the bat. You knew it was gone, and it went up above the new scoreboard, up the auxiliary board, and up into the orange seats in the left field mezzanine. Ball 1 from Harnisch. Pissarro, the pitcher, is on deck. High pop, out of play, over to the right. Bagwell, Mouton, and Vigil all made a move. It's second nature, but it was back up into the boxes, and look at those folks. Where is it, they say? Did the little guy get it? I hope so.
Yeah, he sure did. Oh, you can see the teeth. He had that big smile on his face.
The 1-1 ball, and at his age, you don't always see teeth when they smile. Did Mike show him the 2 different sleeve patches we have?
I don't think we've had that.
Out into center, Finley on, and he's there, and it's 1 down. Each of the sleeves on the new uniform. That's the 125th anniversary of Major League Baseball on the right sleeve. Then on the left, the original. Oh, that's a beauty, isn't it?
This is a beauty. This original is still one of the finest ballparks around.
And they've kept it so well. Pissarro with a little looping liner to Caminetti. So 2 quick outs for Harnisch here. And you go up to the top with Marquise Grissom, who's flied to left and lined to left. Gonzo made a heck of an adjustment on the ball that Grissom hit in the 3rd inning. A sinking line drive, and came on to get it. There's your new logo, and that's right up in center field. And there's one just like it, except the colors are reversed right above us.
There
See?
it is. Asking ye shall receive.
That is Anastasio. I didn't know he was a mind reader. Look at this guy. Strike call to Grissom.
I like the way they painted the hallways.
Well, is that beautiful or what?
Yeah, that's really classy looking.
Look out, and hit it so hard it'll hook.
Wow.
And he did. Whoa.
That went up into the black level. That's the luxury suites. I don't imagine those folks ever figured to get a baseball up there. Wow, he really gave that a ride. And this is a young man. Remember last year now, they hit him number 3 in the order, and he hit for power. So he's not your normal leadoff man. He packs a wallop with that bat.
Can run like a rabbit. He can play outfield. He is some kind of player. The ball.
They just always kind of played him where they needed him. Didn't always need him as a leadoff man until they made that trade with the Dodgers, and then they decided to put him up at the top of the order.
Crowds him, and that'll make it 2-2 with nobody on and 2 away. We're in the 5th. Astros all decked out for opening day in their brand new white uniforms. They'll have gray on the road. Back to the basics. Oh, what a pitch. Struck him out to retire the side. That puts us halfway through it on HSE, and after 4.5, Montreal is leading 3-1.
Now they're dancing in the dome, 3-1. Montreal
partner. Oh, the little guys. Chubby Checker would be proud.
And everybody's got it. Well, somebody's got an old cap. Somebody didn't get the new cap.
Well, they tossed a coin, and next time they come, the other guy will get one. Oh, they're mooing again. James Mouton. Don't call me Jimmy. Don't call me Jamie. My name is James. I'm going to start calling him 007. High pop. He won't go 3 for 3 today. Shortstop out behind second base. Cordero will squeeze it. 1 pitch and 1 out for Pissarro here in the 5th inning.
I'll tell you what, he takes the rip, doesn't he?
Yep. I tell you, there's a pretty good little body under that uniform.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go up top and take a look at this swing and watch what we're talking about. He gets after this. This is a high pitch up in the strike zone.
He probably had visions of jacking that baby out of here up there.
In that respect, Milo, he is a free swinger. But yet he did take 2 good pitches to get the count to 2-2 his time previous to that.
Strike call.
To get a base hit.
And the first time at bat, when he got the double, he hung in there down in the count 0-2 and hit an 0-2 pitch for the double.
So, you know, he'll take a couple of wild swings early in the count, but he does have patience enough to be a good leadoff hitter.
Pissarro working to Finley. Got him in a hole 0-2. Pissarro's got some nasty stuff, folks. Montreal leading 3-1. They got all 3 of their runs in the 2nd inning. Houston finally got on board in the 4th on a big clutch 2-out hit by Cedeno. 0-2. Tried to paint a corner on him, but he laid off of it, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Next 2 nights, Expos will be here. Thursday's an open date. Dallas Green brings the Mets in for the weekend. 1-2. Too tight at the knees. He moves that ball in and out. He's missed on the last 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Mets were kind of tough on the Rangers. That exhibition series.
Well, they won over 20 spring training games.
Of course, they were playing to win there, too.
Bounce foul down the right side. Well, we were 11-1 against them last year, and what we saw them in Florida, it'll be tough to repeat that. Pissarro working with a 2-run lead. Pitching here with nobody on and 1 down, 5th inning. Astros have out-hit him, but one of theirs was a 2-run homer by Sean Berry, the 3rd baseman. High bouncer second. Lansing will throw him out. 2 down in the 5th. Lansing to Floyd, second to first, and it'll bring up Biggio. Biggio walked in the 1st. 3rd inning, flied to center. Pissarro didn't give him a pitch to hit at all in that 1st inning.
Came after him in the 2nd time up. Biggio's a good first ball hitter, and if it's somewhere likable to him, he'll go after it.
Strike call. Split that plate in 2 at the knees.
I think he was looking for a breaking pitch. He got a good heater.
You know, when we got to spring training, just a couple of months after the passing of Jim Doc Ewell, the trainer emeritus, Biggio had Doc put on the side of his cap in memory of the longtime trainer. And when we saluted him down in the field with a moment of silence and a tribute to Doc Ewell, Biggio was noticeably shaken.
There it is. Got Doc on the back of that.
Get it on the batting helmet. Smash, fair ball. Down toward the left field corner. It'll be a double. Alou plays it right on the track. A 2-out double by Biggio. Now Bagwell with a chance to cut into it and maybe more.
Well, Pissarro's always had good success against Jeff Bagwell, but in the clutch, Bagwell, as you know, one of the best hitters in the National League. And you've got first base open. So it's just up to Pissarro how he wants to pitch Bagwell. But Biggio, I'll tell you what, when you get the ball on the inside part of the plate, you better get it way in because he's got a quick bat. And he likes that pitch in there.
The Astros, who scored only 2 runs in 2 days at Las Vegas. Some of the guys had better luck in other parts of Vegas. Swing and a foul rolls off to the left side. Mitch Williams was not among them, however. But Darryl Kyle got off the bus, slipped in a buck, and 2,500 big ones rolled right in his pocket.
You're kidding.
Nope. We weren't as lucky with the bats. Scored 1 run each game and only scored 1 here today. It's time to start putting something up in a cluster. Runner second, Biggio. Bagwell waiting. A drive to left. It's up. It's out of here. Holy Toledo, Bagwell rams one into the auxiliary scoreboard, and we're tied at 3.
I'm going to tell you, he hit that ball so hard, it's flat. I was just afraid that it might be hit so hard that it would dip and go down, but I think this ball is still going up. It's a good thing that the wall caught it. Man, did he hit that hard. And Pizarro is
little below the auxiliary, and the catwalk, wasn't it?
Pizarro has made 2 bad pitches, really. The one to Cedeno, he hung up for the base hit that drove in a run, and that pitch to Bagwell stayed up in that strike zone what must have seemed like forever for Pizarro.
Strike 1 to Gonzalez. He scored a run in the 4th inning. Little tapper foul right side.
Well, Bagwell could be headed for a big year.
Yep.
Milo.
Well,
he put the numbers up last season that could have really even been better had he stayed healthy.
Oh, if he hadn't broken that wrist, he gets that magic 100 RBIs, and their bullpen is busy.
Yeah, they're going to go to Tim Scott down there. One of the better middle. He's got him a heck of a bullpen.
He got him swinging. Gonzo, the catcher, will tag him, and the side has been retired. But 2 big hits after 2 outs. Double Biggio, 2-run homer Bagwell. After 5, we start this baby over. On Home Sports Entertainment, it's 3-3.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Texaco, star of the American Road.
New lease on life. And from that guy's bat, Bagwell, boy, did he hammer one or what. And he also showed you the traits of a good, solid hitter. As this pitch opens up the inning to Lansing for a strike. Because you remember in the 1st inning, Bagwell struck out with runners at 1st and 3rd. He's come back with a solid single and a 2-run homer. Every bat's a new at bat for Bags. A ball and a strike. Lansing is flied to right, popped to second. Alou is on deck. Foul out of play over to the right side.
Well, a home run like that to tie a game to start the season can give your ball club a big lift. And now it's up to Pete to see if he can settle down. And we know that even when he doesn't have his good stuff, he's been able to finish a lot of games. So Bagwell able to give Harnish a new lease on life. And let's see if Pete can go out there now and get it done.
Whoa, boy.
Been up behind that strike zone, and that worries you a little bit, but he's a battler.
Ready for the 2-2 to Mike Lansing. Line drive right. Mouton there. He acts like he's been out there for 5 years, not 5 innings. And remember, this is the toughest way to learn in this park is to play a day game.
Yeah, that's his first starting assignment.
He did play here 1 game in the Ranger series.
Yeah, but that was a night game. The day game, they played Kevin Bass out in right field. And so he really didn't get a chance under game conditions. But those are the 2 toughest, those line drives that stay right there at the lights and the panes.
Big cut by Alou.
And that's where you want to pitch him. Now, he's a dead high fastball hitter. And
it reminds me of somebody. His dad.
Yeah, right.
Pop foul back here out of play. I was kidding the PR director of the Montreal Club when we were down getting ready to do the pregame ceremonies. And Felipe was standing about 4 or 5 feet away. And I said, boy, I remember watching him play when I was a kid. The only problem was I was doing the game. High fly ball. Mouton, you're elected. 2 down.
That's 6 putouts for him in right field. Mouton has 6 putouts, a couple of hits. Having a nice day. Pete's given his outfielders a lot of work here in this game.
Well, we'll get something going here like they had in the old days at Yankee Stadium with Moose Skowron, in Baltimore with Boog Powell, and in Chicago with Moose Morin. Now we got a moo of our own.
Yeah, kind of
like Jose Cruz.
That's right.
Whatever works. This is Walker. Comes up on a foul, and that makes it 1-1.
Jay Fred would approve.
Oh, he could stretch it out. We had a contest once. Who could put the most U's in Cruz, or who could put the most O's in Holy?
Who won?
It was a tie. Boy, since the homer in the second inning, Harnish has not allowed a hit. Foul back. He walked a man in the 4th. That was Fletcher. So, since the home run, 13 of 14 is retired.
Yeah, that's the quality about this guy.
And what we talked about,
competitor.
He'll get it back some way.
A lot of games that he won last year with this kind of stuff is when he hung in there and was able to allow the ball club to win it for them. And then the shutouts he had in those excellent pitch games, when he's got his good stuff, he's really tough.
Look at this. Get over Pete, and he did. Holy Toledo, what a play. Biggio going far to his left. Handshakes all around in that dugout. A big, big play, scoring 4-1. That was a beauty. Now you know, Pete, why you took that drill all spring in Kissimmee. We played into the middle of the 6th at HSE. It's tied at 3.
Portions of today's game are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart. And we've had a couple of Southwest Airlines jets flying out of here today. One by Sean Berry and the other by Jeff Bagwell. Getting way up in the clouds, and Pete Harnish now settled down, and he's in this game 3-3.
And the first pitch of the inning to Caminetti is a ball. Yankees put it on Texas 5-3. Tartabull and Stanley homered in that game. Well, they got a Donnybrook going in Detroit, in Boston, between the Tigers and the Red Sox. Big swing and a miss by Cammy. (8-6) Detroit, and they're in the bottom of the 7th. The Katy Rocket is long gone. It just goes to show you can throw spring training right in the wind. And when they spin those numbers back to 0-0-0 on the last day of spring training, that's why we start all over. Smash foul left side. Devereaux homered in the Baltimore game off Apier, gives Messina a lead. Still 1-0 at the end of 3. Bouncer third. Cammy's out. Berry throws him out. 1 down here in the 6th.
Hey, what, they don't have to worry about his glove over there. He's pretty sound third baseman.
So Cammy taking a look down there, saying couldn't get it by him, and now it's Service who's bounced out, popped up. Berry, in fact, robbed him of a hit in the 2nd inning. Dove for a ball, looked like it was going through the hole. Got up and threw out Scotty. They've gone to the 10th in that Seattle-Cleveland game, 2-2. A ball. Johnson, the big lefty, had a no-hitter until the 8th when Sandy Alomar Jr. ended it. Two balls and no strikes. Cincinnati trying to get even after losing last night to the Redbirds. They're leading 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th at Riverfront. Sanders and Oliver have homered in that one for the Redlegs. Fouled up into the screen. Carl Tuffy Rhodes with 3 dingers. And an old teammate, Vizcaíno, who went over to the Mets a few days ago. And Randy Hundley's son, Todd, and Kent. Oh, I wonder, you don't suppose a wind at Wrigley Field?
Well, you just read off 4 unlikely home run hitters' names right there, so I'd have to say the wind's blowing out.
Did he go? They're asking. No swing. I think Scotty got a break. But don't argue with him if you're an Expo, because Ed Montague can make you disappear.
Yeah. I've always contended 95% of the time the hitter goes around. It's just too hard to stop.
Fly ball right center. It'll hang up. Who's going to take charge? It'll be Walker. And it's 2 down in the inning. Speaking of Ed Montague, the umpire at first, he does untold things at hospitals in the offseason with his magic act. He and his pal, the late Lee Wire, were terrific with their magic. Now Ed Montague performs it to please patients at hospitals. Oh boy, it sounded like a strike, but it was a ball. Cedeno, who had a big clutch hit in the 4th inning to drive in Gonzo. We're 3-3, bottom of the 6th. Milo Hamilton and Bill Worrell on HSE. Swing and a foul. We're all together with the main man down in the truck, Mike Anastasio. And Esther always get a note from Esther. Did you see Esther at the baseball dinner? Whoa, knockout. There's a drive out into deep left center. It will be caught at the wall.
Wow, what a catch.
Grissom can outrun a ball, and he just did. He's all right. He crashed to the stadium floor, but he's all right. He took extra bases away from Cedeno, and he'll get a big hand from a partisan Houston crowd. Well, Bill, nice to have been with you. Do I see you tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Friday night.
All right. Thanks to everybody on HSE for the welcome back. Bill Brown will come over to take you the rest of the way. It's 3-3 on HSE.
Welcome back to the Astrodome in the top of the 7th inning. Game tied at 3. A couple of long home runs doing the damage here today. Sean Berry with a 2-run blast early in the game, and then a 2-out 2-run homer by Jeff Bagwell. And he tied it up in the 5th inning at 3. So Montreal stepping in now. Darren Fletcher will lead it off here in the 7th inning. And back to the microphone, Bill Brown.
Thanks, Bill. You see what Fletcher has done today. There's strike 1. Harnish got him out on a line drive in the 2nd inning, walked him in the 4th. There's bullpen action for Houston with right-hander Shane Reynolds and lefty Mike Hampton. Harnish to lead off in the bottom of the inning. This probably is his last frame. 1-1, and even though the score is tied, the Astros have come back to tie it with a 2-run homer by Bagwell, and Harnish, if he keeps pitching well, would stand a good chance at a win. He's expended a good deal of energy by this time. Fly ball, Gonzalez. 1 out. Even though Pete, Bill, has retired 9 in a row now, there might be that tendency to stay with him. The Expos starter Facero is getting a little tired too, and if the Astros are able to pinch hit and get a rally going in the 7th inning, especially with Mouton having 2 hits to this point, they have a pretty good chance to get the lead if Pete can do a job here.
Well, he's thrown 86 pitches, Bill, and you know, if he goes on and finishes out this inning, unless he has a real quick inning, he'll be up around the middle 90s, and pitches are close to 100, and that may be all you want to go with him this early in the season.
Sounds like a pretty good target number for a first start.
Well, I'll tell you what,
good stuff.
He's got better stuff now than he did the first 3 innings. In first 3 innings, he was just very hittable. In fact, he was lucky to keep them in the ballpark because there were some hard shots.
There were, and he batted in the 4th inning with 2 outs, so Terry Collins stayed with him, and he has rewarded that confidence with the way he's pitched since then. Cedeno, 2 outs now, and Harnish continues to mow them down.
It's a pretty good indication, too. I think, you know, if you wanted to second guess anything Terry has done today, it may have been that you would have pinch hit for Harnish, but apparently Terry has done a real good job of scouting Harnish and this team. And maybe Matt Galante, who has seen him, or some other people said, hey, he's a battler, and you may want to stay with him a little longer. And so that ended up being a great key decision for Terry.
Cliff Floyd has put the ball in the air twice. He rips it foul. Strike 1, and that one hit Stretch Suba, I believe. Mike Hampton flips it up to somebody.
Somebody's supposed to be protected. Wait a minute. Look at somebody's out there with the palms open saying, I was supposed to be protecting the catchers, and the ball got by me.
Todd Jones.
Todd Jones saying, how did that happen?
They're getting all over him from the bench.
See, he's standing there. He's supposed to catch those. But nobody wanted a piece of that ball.
Well, after that screamer, Scott Service went to the mound to talk it over with Harnish. You see Mitch Williams starting to get loose there at the end of the bench.
They let the big guy get his arms extended, Bill. That's the first time they've done that. Now that was a little farther outside. You want to keep the ball outside. If you go in on Floyd now, you want to be sure and tie him up.
Floyd, quite a package, isn't he?
He has a big long swing like McCovey used to have. Covey started making a lot more contact, though, the longer he played. He was a tough out.
1 ball and 2 strikes. He was voted the minor league player of the year by USA Today and the Sporting News for his season last year. It's 2-2, and we really haven't seen him run yet. He can really let it out. Montreal organization just continues to crank out the minor league talent. Good pitch, got him on strikes. Harnish crowded him, and he picks up his 3rd to end the top of the 7th inning. Montreal 3, Houston 3. Inside the Astrodome, it's a tie ball game, and we'll take a look at today's Gatorade game summary for you as the fans enjoy their 7th inning stretch. The Expos broke on top with 3 in the 2nd, including the 2-run homer by Sean Berry. The Astros tied it on a 2-run homer in the 5th inning by Jeff Bagwell. Harnish has retired 16 of 17 after the Berry home run, with only a walk to Fletcher in the 4th inning marring his work. He really did a wonderful job of getting himself straight on the mound. And now it's bullpen time for both clubs in this game. Harnish will be leaving for a pinch hitter. Well, that young man is occupying one of 43,440 tickets sold for this game. Harnish leaves with the possibility of a win, and more than anything, just a nice job of keeping his team in the game. While the Expos now have made a double switch. They've put Randy Milligan in the game to play first base. Milligan bats 9th. He'll be batting 2nd in the 8th inning. Milligan at first, and at the same time replacing the first baseman in the order in the 7th spot is Mel Rojas. Rojas, among the top setup men around, saved 10 games, won 5, and appeared in 66 a year ago. And as you can see, likes the work, Bill.
Well, they really have a good bullpen. You got Rojas and you got Scott. When you go up and down that lineup, and of course probably the best closer in baseball, or at least one of the best last year in Wetland.
Mike Felder is the pinch hitter for Harnish, and there is strike 1 on the foul ball. Felder with an off season last year at Seattle. It began with a broken finger in spring training. He never got on track. Had some good years with the Giants before he went to the Mariners. Bunting is a part of his game, and he's good at getting on base. That's the job he's asked to do here as he pinch hits for Harnish. Varnish in 7 innings, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. Is high, and the count is 2-1 to Felder. Felder obtained in the trade with Seattle along with Mike Hampton for Eric Anthony. Anthony homered today in Seattle's game. The Astros hoping that Felder can come through here for them. And he hits one out of play. The bat splintered on him.
Heard about sawing him off. That was a good example. You pick your teeth with that bat now. Well, that's a good job of getting that ball. Look at that bat, just absolutely broke right in two. He caught it right on the end.
Felder done a lot of pitch hitting in his career, 134 pitch hit at bats. He had a good spring, so he's pretty sharp right now. He scored 15 runs to tie Jeff Bagwell for the club lead in spring training. He's a .224 career pinch hitter. A little bit stronger hitter as a right-handed batter than from this side of the plate. Pops it up, Fletcher. And Rojas has retired the first man to face him. The Expos are in very good shape with their bullpen, with John Wetland to close. Rojas, Tim Scott, Jeff Shaw, Denny Boucher right now. And that is the chant for James Mouton. Mouton is 2 for 3.
Well, they kept it in the family with Rojas. He was signed by his uncle Jesus, now playing for his uncle Felipe. That's not bad. That's a pretty talented family, isn't it?
It sure is. Rojas facing Mouton, who's 2 for 3 in this game, double and single. And there's ball 1.
There's a good live arm that Rojas does, and that's what Mouton has done today. How about another hit?
That would really stir up the crowd right now in a tie game in the 7th inning. 2-0. This is probably going to be one of the most difficult phases for Mouton, seeing the different pitchers around the league and trying to catalog them, the hard throwers.
Especially when you get into a bullpen in the minor leagues, like in Tucson, you get into below average pitchers. But when you get into a bullpen in the major leagues, Bill, you're getting into pitchers who still have good stuff. This is just a different role. And a guy like Rojas with a good live arm, you're seeing a pitcher with equals the stuff of Facero, just from the opposite side. So you're right. That's the adjustment he'll have to make. You can't let up 1 second up here.
Strike call makes it 3-1 now. Rojas, the nephew of Felipe Alou, born in the Dominican Republic. He had 100 innings of work in 1992. Mouton is jammed and fouls it back. 3-2 now.
Mouton also seeing one of the best, that Rojas, one of the best against right-handers. He is really tough on a right-handed hitter with the kind of stuff he has. And so Mouton will probably go, this will be one of the tougher pitchers he'll face in the late innings right here.
Steve Finley's waiting. We're in the 7th with 1 out. Game tied at 3. Mouton rips one. It will hook and go foul.
Wow, did he hit that up in the gray? Nice catch by a fan in the front row. Must have Bob Uecker seats.
What do you suppose the chances, and they brought a glove, were for them to get a ball today up there?
Boy, did he have a good rip on that. Great catch.
3 balls and 2 strikes. They got their reward. Mouton out into center. Grissom. 2 outs.
Okay.
And Finley will be next.
I like this kid, though. He doesn't get cheated, and he swings at good pitches. Now, he worked that count out to 3-2 earlier, and at that bat, he worked it out to 2-2 and got a base hit. So here's a kid that is a free swinger, but when he has to be, he can get that strike zone in his favor.
Rojas was tagged with 3 losses by the Astros last year. He was 0-3 against them in 7 games. It's ball 1 to Finley. He is 0 for 2 after a sac bunt. Rojas did save a couple of games, though. Both his saves came at Montreal. 2 of his 3 losses came here in Houston. It's 1-1. Rojas, 27 years old. He had asked the Expos to trade him over the winter. Had a losing result in an arbitration hearing and wasn't pleased about that. Said he's tired of being a setup man. He wants to start or close, and he can't do either in Montreal. The Expos like him where he is. Finley off his foot, and he goes down on this foul ball. It's 1-2 to Steve.
You know, the role, though, of the middle reliever has really changed over the years, and I think if I'm Montreal, I'd like to have him in that position too, because Rojas and Tim Scott really give them some guys who could be closers on other teams, who come in there and set up a Wetland or can hold a team for 2 innings or so, keep you in a game. That's a deep bullpen.
It really is. A big part of their success. Finley's still not ready to go. Trainer Dave Lavoisier came out.
All you can do with those is just walk them off.
That's right. This takes a little time. And in baseball, there is a little time for an injured batter. Well, usually a hitter in that situation might be thinking, what if I have to sprint up the line? I can't afford to go in that batter's box until I'm ready to run hard.
Would you see Big John McSherry? He's worked hard today too. Like somebody just poured some water on him.
1 ball and 2 strikes. It's a 3-3 game in the 7th with 2 outs. Finley lips wide. He got it in for a hit right off the end of the bat. Well, Finley with a 2-out single is aboard for Biggio. Nice work by Steve, just reaching out.
That's typical Finley stuff when he's healthy, is the way he handles the bat, both in bunting and both in just getting. That's why he's such a great 2-hitter, because he's able to make contact. He just went out and got a pitch that Rojas would have bet you $100 he couldn't hit.
Excellent job. He's aboard for Biggio. Craig 1 for 2 with a walk. He doubled and scored. There's strike 1. Bagwell on deck. The Astros rallied with a 4th inning run, and then the Bagwell homer, getting 2 home in the 5th to tie it, has stayed tied since. Throw goes to first. Finley back. The Astros have stolen a base. James Mouton in the 3rd inning.
It's really incumbent, I think, that Rojas hold him close, because Fletcher does not throw that well. So if Finley can get a good jump, he might be going.
Another throw goes over. Randy Milligan now the first baseman. Cliff Floyd out of the game.
Rojas has a good move for a right-hander. Got a good quick feet. Gets the ball over to first in a hurry. He's trying to give Fletcher, his catcher, a chance now if Finley goes.
Finley had a pretty nice size lead, and again that throw drives him back. Little things like this could mean the difference in a game like this.
Well, they really do, because Biggio, a good hitter, like to see Finley get over to second base, and Terry says he's going to steal more this season, and Finley is a good man at doing that.
Pitch out. Finley wasn't going, but the Expos thought there might be a pretty good chance of it. 1-1. There's the game they play with the signs in between every pitch. Another throw goes to first. They are really watching Finley like a hawk at first.
And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Alou wouldn't go for another pitch out in this situation, because that run is so important at first.
Finley not going. The pitch in tight. 2 balls and a strike, and the Astros bullpen still Shane Reynolds and now Todd Jones. Bagwell's has gotten in quite a bit of work.
Yeah, he's worked about 3 innings in the bullpen.
Two outs for Biggio. A 2-1 count. He rifles one on a line. That's a hit in front of Alou. And now the Astros are still clicking in the 7th. Consecutive singles by Finley and Biggio bring up Bagwell. 2 hits for Biggio.
Had a good rip at this. Ball really didn't have much on it. Most everything Rojas throws dips and dives, has good action, but that ball came in flat and Biggio was right on it.
Jeff Bagwell has hits his last 2 times up. Line drive single to center, line drive homer. He's 2 for 3. Berry to end the 7th inning with no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. After 7, Montreal 3, Houston 3.
Inning here at the Astrodome, and the Astros now will send in Shane Reynolds to pitch to start off this inning. Reynolds having a up and down spring training, has a good arm, and has seen action up here with the Astros in previous seasons. That's what he did this spring. 13 strikeouts, but also 20 hits.
He had a lot of work, and the last time out he worked against San Diego on Saturday afternoon. Gave up a homer in his 1 inning. Sean Berry, ball 1. He's been one of the heroes of this game with a 2-run homer in the 2nd and excellent defensive work. Expos are getting a right-hander ready in their bullpen. Randy Milligan on deck. It's 2-0 to Berry now. Shane, with one of his best assets, his ability to throw strikes, is visited now by Scott Service. He did have a lot of bullpen work. Sometimes a pitcher will wear himself a little thin before he gets into the game. And then you have to deal with the opening day jitters too, Bill. So there are some different factors at play here.
Yeah, I imagine there are quite a few butterflies churning around in the stomach of that young man.
There's a strike. He needed that. It's 2-1 to Berry.
Yeah, you don't want to get behind in this role as a pitcher. You must throw strikes, and you must work the plate, keep that hitter guessing, but you must throw strikes.
And he came back to get the ground ball to Cedeno, and out number 1.
Good job.
It really was. Harnish with 7 innings, allowing 3 hits, 3 runs, leaves with no decision, but a job well done.
This is the area of the team, Bill, I think is still a big question mark for Houston going in is the middle relief, because Xavier Hernandez, who by the way got a save today for the Yankees, has been traded, and some of the familiar faces that you've seen around. We know about the starters for Houston, and Pete Harnish having a good start, but can some of these youngsters fill in the void? The Hamptons and the Reynolds.
Randy Milligan takes, and that's the curve in the dirt, ball 1.
Todd Jones, you know, can these youngsters go ahead now and fill this role and pitch well so that you can get to your closing?
Milligan for Cincinnati hit .274. Then he was traded on to Cleveland last year. Fastball catches the corner, and it's 1-1. Montreal got him in a deal last December for Brian Barnes. Randy now 32 years of age, and he really knows the strike zone. He takes a lot of walks, and he seldom strikes out. It's 1-2.
Those are the guys I always thought you might as well try to get ahead of as quick as possible, because if you don't, you're going to end up walking them. They're still going to foul a lot of pitches off and make you work normally, but if you can get ahead of these guys as quick as possible, the battle's half won. Now see what a good eye that is.
It is. That was a close pitch.
Yeah, it really was.
2-2 the count.
But what happens is if you're a veteran and you stay in the league long enough, Bill, the umpire will give you the benefit of the doubt because he knows you know the strikes.
Milligan's down on strikes, 2 outs.
Boy, what a good pitch that was.
Shane has really now mastered the split-fingered fastball, and he's used it all spring long to get left-handed hitters and right out. A sharply dipping pitch, and it's well disguised. It looks like the fastball coming.
Well, they liked his arm, and they liked his poise and the way he was coming on as a pitcher, and I think that's why they let the X-Man go. They felt like this split finger was becoming as good as the one the X had.
Marquise Grissom 0 for 3. That's ball 1 to him. We're in the top of the 8th. The game tied at 3.
You be careful with this guy now.
Not your typical leadoff hitter.
No, he isn't.
It's 1-1. Grissom now 26 years old. He'll be 27 in a few more days. He was 8th in the MVP voting a year ago after a tremendous year.
I voted him higher than that.
Little dunker. Gonzalez. It's a hit. Grissom is able to loop one in for a 2-out single.
And now here's your problem. He's one of the better base stealers around, so he's on with 2 outs, and you can just better figure he's going to be taken off. Did a good job of hanging. See how strong he is? That's what you, I'm sure, were alluding to a moment ago, too, as well as I was, the fact that he can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he's so strong, even when they jammed him, he was able to get a hit.
He was 2nd in the league in steals last year with 53. Grissom is a man to watch with Mike Lansing batting. Lansing's 0 for 3. There's strike 1. That's one way to combat the running game.
Throw a strike and have him going back to first. I don't know what he saw, but Grissom was going back to the bag.
Grissom led the league in steals in 91 and 92. He has 230 for his career, so Shane Reynolds wants to do everything he can to keep him close. Grissom has had 85% success rate in stealing bases in his career. They got it. Bagwell in a rundown. Makes the tag, and they pick him off.
What a play.
No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. That'll give the Astros fans a lift, and they'll try to break a 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 8th.
Montreal and Houston tied at 3, bottom of the 8th inning. The one thing Shane Reynolds has done is perfect his pickoff move. Now watch this. As he picks off, Grissom never got a good read, and he picked him off. Grissom went back to first when he threw to home and then got picked off on that move. Now, it looked like a balk that was so well disguised this early in the season. I think he even caught the umpires. He buckled that left knee just a fraction before he went to first, but he moved the shoulder, Bill, at the same time he moved the knee, and the umpires didn't see it. But I'm going to tell you what, that's as good of a right-handed pickoff move I've ever seen.
Outstanding. Luis Gonzalez in a 3-3 game leads it off, bottom of the 8th. He's 0 for 3. Little tapper up the first base line, turns foul. Steve Henderson makes the play there. Hindu, part of the Astros 88 opening day lineup. Well, he was a pinch hitter in that game. So he returns in a Houston uniform for the 2nd time in his career. And has he ever been working with Gonzo and the outfielders? They have been drilling by the hours.
You could tell today.
Sure could. It paid off today with Mouton and Gonzo. Left center field. Grissom tracking it.
You're just hitting it into a deep, dark cave when you hit it to center field.
Well, these 2 outfields of these 2 clubs defensively are among the best around. Grissom, of course, and Walker won Gold Gloves last year. Finley is an excellent player. Looks as if Mouton is going to take away a lot of hits in right, and Gonzalez really covers the ground. And Alou has a tremendous arm. Caminetti's 0 for 3. And that's ball 1. In the Astros bullpen is Mitch Williams. If you think it's been exciting so far today, hang on.
Yeah. There might be some people just joining us who waited until the late innings.
Well, they might have the game all wrapped up in a few minutes. It's hard to say. These pitching staffs are really taking hold in this game. Caminetti up the middle, knocked down, and Rojas recovers to get him.
You know, Terry did say one thing this spring, though, and I don't know if you followed up on it or not. I'm sure you did, but he said that if he had a pitcher that was fairly hot, he would take him into the 9th inning. He wouldn't necessarily go to Mitch to close the 9th. So if he has a pitcher who's pitching very well, he might stay with him.
Terry thinking ahead now, has 2 outs. Scott Service at the plate. The number 8 hitter Cedeno on deck. Then the pitcher's spot due up. He needs to have a pitcher ready in case he wants to go to a pinch hitter later here. That's ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes on Scott Service. Sean Berry's playing him just barely inside the third base line. 2-0 with 2 outs, nobody on. It's usual in this situation for the defensive team to guard the lines, and that's certainly what the Expos are doing. Berry's very close to the third base line, and Milligan also close at first.
But in the Astrodome, does that really make a difference?
Service pops it up. As this at bat turns out. And Milligan's there to end the 8th inning. The Astros go quietly. The 9th inning ahead. The game tied at 3.
Top of the 9th inning, and here is tonight's Royal Oak Charcoal Grandstand play of the game, and it belongs to Scott Birdwell. He made a red-hot grab. Scott will receive a gift certificate from Royal Oak and becomes eligible for the Grandstand Catch of the Year. Nice going, Scott. I'll tell you what, now that's optimism to buy a ticket in the gray area and bring your glove, because that may be the only ball hit there this year.
Oh, man.
And his son brought the glove.
Did that ever work out? Now it's a 3-3 game. Shane Reynolds pitching the 9th. Mike Lansing is 0 for 3. There's strike 1 in the bullpen. Now Todd Jones and Mike Hampton. Earlier Mitch Williams was working. And the Expos will get John Wetland up. Curve. He tried to check his swing. He went around. 0-2 on appeal to Ed Montague. Alou and Walker to follow Lansing. So it's a big boost of confidence for Shane Reynolds to be in a game like this at this spot against a tough part of the Montreal order. A ball and 2 strikes. Shane, of course, has been for the most part a starting pitcher throughout the minor leagues. But he's pitched well in relief. And he got a strikeout. Well, there's the split finger. Number 2.
Well, he really fooled him on the second pitch, and that's what set up this pitch, because I think Lansing was just halfway went around on the second pitch, and now he was ready for anything. He got everything. He had no clue on that pitch.
He did not. 2 for Reynolds, 5 for Astros pitching. The Expos have left only 1 man on base. The Astros have stranded 7. Alou is strike 1. And of the top 3 in the Expos order, 3 players with a lot of speed, there's been only 1 hit. 1 for 11 combined. Outside the right field line, this will be out of play.
Now he's a dead high fastball hitter, and he hits it hard when you pitch it up there. So Reynolds came up to him, but had a good tailing action on the fastball and was able to get it in on his hands. But if you're going to pitch Alou up there, you better have some extra heat.
The manager's son, Moises Alou, second in Rookie of the Year voting in 1992. One and 2, and after Moises got hurt last September, and it was such a severe injury that the Expos were quite concerned about him. He flew from Montreal out to where they were, I believe it was St. Louis, just to reassure his teammates that he would be on the mend and not to worry about him. They were in a tight pennant race. Caminetti positioned perfectly. 2 outs.
Well, you've got to really hand it to the young man the way he has come back, Bill, because we all saw that injury, and I don't know about you, but I couldn't watch it more than I've only seen it once. I just had to cringe. But he's done a great job, and now here's Terry going out to the mound.
he's going to Mike Hampton. He wants a lefty for Walker. So even though Shane Reynolds has retired 4 out of 5, and then he picked off Grissom after he got a hit, he wants the left-hander for the left-handed hitting Larry Walker. Try to keep this game tied and give the Astros a shot in the bottom of the 9th to win it. So the fans acknowledge the fine work of Shane Reynolds. And he leaves in the 9th inning, 2 outs, nobody on. Montreal 3, Houston 3. It's a 3-3 game, top of the 9th, 2 outs, nobody on. Larry Walker's coming up. So the Astros want a left-hander, and that lefty is 21-year-old Mike Hampton, who's making his National League debut. He pitched in a few games for Seattle in the American League last year, and as you can see, not all that successfully.
No, he wasn't successful in Seattle, but he's got great minor league statistics, and they felt like that with his good arm and the scouts' reports on him that he was a comer, and it would be just any time now when he got it going. He's way ahead of where, like, say, for instance, a Facero was, who toiled in the minors for 7 years and then became a major league pitcher. This kid's got a good arm, good live action on it, and he'll have to be careful with Walker now, because I'm sure they've gone over the scouting report, but Walker likes to hit the first ball pitched. He's a first ball fastball hitter, and he hit 344 on that first pitch last year, so I'm sure they've gone over that with him.
Hampton had a very good send-off in his final outing of the spring in Las Vegas Friday night against San Diego. 6 batters up and 6 down. Walker taps it, and it's strike 1. Talking with the Padres batting instructor Merv Rettenman the next day, he was awfully impressed with Mike Hampton, and those are rave reviews we've been hearing about this young lefty all spring. And it's 0-2. Walker hasn't hit a ball anywhere near the sweet spot of the bat. Hampton, though, is primarily, Bill, a starting pitcher. The plans are that he will be a starter next year. Bob Watson said to Terry Collins, I'll give him to you for the bullpen this year.
I think that's good. I think what you have to do with a young man is let him pitch and pitch a lot of innings. And I think the plan was maybe to send him to Tucson, but he just flat beat everybody else out, didn't he?
He really did. Walker swings, and on the strikeout, Scott Service will throw him out. Hampton does well. That ends the top of the 9th inning. Bottom of the 9th coming. Montreal 3, Houston 3. Terry Collins made the pitching moves. Now he's hoping the offense will deliver in the bottom of the 9th. Mel Stottlemyre is pitching coach. Ben Hines, a hitting instructor, there along with Terry as the bottom of the 9th is about to begin, and we'll have moves. Kevin Bass has been walking with a bat. There's Lou Frazier in the Montreal move. He's the left fielder, replacing Moises Alou there. Now Bass is out in the on-deck circle with Cedeno due to hit first. Kevin is in line to pinch hit for Mike Hampton, the pitcher. And then James Mouton is due up third with Mitch Williams in the Astros pen.
Bill, now you see why Bob Watson said his first priority in the offseason was to get himself a stronger bench. And you see the reason for that now. So much in baseball, you go into these late inning affairs, and the deepest team usually wins. And Bob felt like that was an area that he wanted to strengthen this year with the Astros. And there he is, sitting right next to us up in his perch. And I think he's done that. And that might win him a few extra games, and that might be what it takes to win the division.
Cedeno drove in a run with a 4th inning single. He's 1 for 3. That's ball 1. Alou came in the 7th. This is his, or Rojas rather, this is his 3rd inning of work. Cedeno apparently thought he had called time and was backing out. We didn't see any acknowledgement of that, but the pitch was called a ball. It's 2-0. Might have distracted Rojas by backing out. Ground ball single into right. Cedeno's 2 for 4, and the Astros have the lead runner on for pinch hitter Kevin Bass.
Well, so much for having good balance when you hit, because he fell down. He swung inside out at the pitch purposely to go to left field. I mean, to go to right field, And he kind of lost his balance coming out of the batter's box. But that's a good job of hitting. All he wanted to do was get on base.
Kevin Bass is the pinch hitter, batting for Hampton. And Bass, who started several opening days for the Astros last year, was their leading pinch hitter. He had a pinch hit single in the '88 opener and drove in 2 runs in that game. And he started the openers in '86, '87, and '89. Pops up the bunt. Rojas will get a double play.
Boy, you burn your best pinch hitter, and he can't get the bunt down.
Oh, now, looking at the prospects of extra innings, it's James Mouton to try to prevent that from happening. He's 2 for 4.
Popped it up is all he did. He didn't let that ball come to the bat. He kind of reached out with his bat, and that's what will happen when you do that. You don't cushion it.
Mouton doubled, singled, stole a base. 2 for 4. He's made some fine plays in right field. Hit a fly ball to center in the 7th inning off Rojas. That's strike 1. Such a promising start here to the bottom of the 9th inning. And now they hope that Mouton can get the offense ignited again here. In 1992, just 2 years ago, Mouton was getting ready to play a full season at Class A Osceola. It's 0-2. James is starting his 4th year in professional baseball. He led all players in the minor leagues in runs scored with 126.
All right, let's see what he does now down in the count 0-2. They pitched him on that outside part of the plate, and they come back in.
1-2 it is.
He's tried to pull just about everything since he's been up there, so they may want to go back outside now for the out pitch. Let's see if he goes that way with the bat or if he tries to pull it again.
2-2. Mouton struck out about 10 more times than he walked all last year. He has some patience as a leadoff man, but not as much as a lot of others around. He also has some pop. Center field. Grissom still running off his glove. Mouton will get at least a double, and he's stopping there with a 2-base hit. He had tremendous carry on that line drive, and that's the 3rd time he's been on base for these fans.
Bill, I never thought I would see a ball hit over the head of Marquise Grissom. I don't believe I've ever seen it. But he was playing in shallow enough, and this shows you the pop that this young guy's got in his bat, because he gave this a good ride. It was on the outside part of the plate, and he more or less went with it, and Grissom could not catch up to it. And Rojas a little upset. I think everybody figures that Grissom will catch everything that's hit out there. Well, that bunt now really proves costly, because if you can bunt that runner over to second, this game would be over. A lot of ifs in this game of baseball.
Freddie Benavides comes off the bench, and the TCU product will go out to play second base with Mike Lansing coming in. So with Mouton doubling, it'll be a double switch for Montreal. Rojas leaves the game. And with James Mouton hoping to score the winning run, Steve Finley is ready to hit. To the bullpen again for Alou, and his 3rd pitcher of the day. That was hit number 10 by the Astros. Mouton has 3 of them. their third double. Here's John Wetteland, the Montreal closer. What a closer last year with 43 saves, a 9-3 record, a 1.37 ERA. This time a year ago, he wasn't close to being able to pitch because he had broken his toe kicking at a protective screen after he threw a pitch he didn't like in batting practice in spring training. Understandable that Felipe would make the switch. Rojas had thrown a lot of pitches. He had pitched 2 2/3 innings. And he gave up 4 hits. And Wetteland, who has a devastating curveball, began in the second half of last year to throw more and more fastballs. He has an excellent fastball.
Well, I think what he'd done is he'd gotten away from his fastball and he lost velocity on it. So, you know, when you go back to concentrating on your curveball, you'll lose a little off your fastball. Well, he went back to working on his fastball, picked up some miles per hour on it, and that made the curveball that much more effective. He's really double tough now. If you ask most of the hitters, they'll tell you right now that's the one man they don't want to face. He's got a great arm, and he's part of one of the better bullpens, of course, as we've talked about. They led the majors with 61 saves last season, of course, and he had 43 of them. Now, Finley is 2 for 5 against Wetteland in his career, and Biggio has made a living off Wetteland. So, of the 2 hitters you'd want to come up and face him in this situation, if you were Terry Collins, it would be at least Finley and Biggio.
Last year, Wetteland appeared 5 times against the Astros with 1 win and 4 saves.
Well, if you're going to get your first win of the season, you might as well get it against the best, right?
Why not? Finley got a hit in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3 with a sac bunt. Runner at second, Mouton, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, game tied at 3.
Done is he's gotten away from his fastball and he lost velocity on it. So, you know, when you go back to concentrating on your curveball, you'll lose a little off your fastball. Well, he went back to working on his fastball, picked up some miles per hour on it, and that made the curveball that much more effective. He's really double tough now. If you ask most of the hitters, they'll tell you right now that's the one man they don't want to face. He's got a great arm, and he's part of one of the better bullpens, of course, as we've talked about. They led the majors with 61 saves last season, of course, and he had 43 of them. Now, Finley is 2 for 5 against Wetteland in his career, and Biggio has made a living off Wetteland. So, of the 2 hitters you'd want to come up and face him in this situation, if you were Terry Collins, it would be at least Finley and Biggio.
Last year, Wetteland appeared 5 times against the Astros with 1 win and 4 saves.
Well, if you're going to get your first win of the season, you might as well get it against the best, right?
Why not? Finley got a hit in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3 with a sac bunt. Runner at second, Mouton, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, game tied at 3. Fastball, strike 1.
The outfield, of course, playing very shallow because if anything's hit on the ground, they'll want to try to have a play at the plate on Mouton.
Matt Galante is making sure he's in an excellent position to make a call on sending Mouton home. 1-2, and even though you have outstanding arms in the Montreal outfield, with 2 outs, it's a good bet that he'd be coming on anything possible. Wetland got Finley to end one of his saves late last August in Montreal with 2 men on base. Former Dodger, 27 years old, among the very best around right now. Averaged more than a strikeout per inning last year. 1-2. Wetland is a native of San Mateo, California. Quite a musician, plays the clarinet, the sax. Dodgers let him go in the Major League Draft to Detroit. Then he was returned to the Dodgers. Then they traded him to Cincinnati in a 3-way deal. He went on to Montreal. Finley stays alive at 1-2. Well, this is a thriller for an opener. Montreal had a 3-0 lead after 1.5. It has been tied ever since the 5th inning when Bagwell hit his 2-run homer. Aaron Fletcher talks it over with Wetland. And over the years, Bill, there have been so many high moments in openers, but this will rank right up there if the Astros can manage to win it in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, the way they've done it, by coming back, hanging in the game, and a big day for that young man.
3-3 game. 1-2 the count. And Wetland strikes out Finley to send the game to extra innings. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left for Houston. The Astros have stranded 8, and they've out-hit Montreal 10-4, but it goes on to the 10th, tied at 3. Well, a thrilling day is extended to the top of the 10th. Montreal 3, Houston 3. Bill Brown and Bill Worrell with Todd Jones taking over for the 10th. And he's facing Darren Fletcher after a good rookie season last year. There's ball 1 to Fletcher, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Todd had very good walk to strikeout numbers this spring. It's 2-0. This is the 4th time in Astros club history they've gone to extra innings in an opener out of the 34. Last time 1990 when Cincinnati won it 8-4 in 11. 3-0 to Fletcher with Cordero on deck. And on 4 pitches, Fletcher draws the walk. That had not been a problem for Todd in spring training, but spring training is now history. Now we'll have a pinch runner at first base. Tim Spear, a catcher, is running for Fletcher. The Expos perhaps gaining a step with this move. And now it's Cordero. Cordero's 1 for 3, drove in a run with a hit in the 2nd. Caminetti's coming in tight at 3rd, looking for a bunt from Cordero. That's a strike. He went at it, according to John McSherry.
Boy, and I tell you, Todd hasn't been close to throwing a strike, so Cordero really helped him out. Maybe that'll settle him down to get a strike call at least. Get on one on a swing.
And quite often that really does help a pitcher when a hitter chips in a little bit. The bunt. Caminetti will field and throw on to Biggio covering. The sacrifice for out number 1 moves Spear to second base.
So that's the bunt again. Pretty basic stuff here. You just get it out away from the catcher. And Caminetti throws him out, and we'll have a pinch hitter, huh?
It'll be Jeff Gardner. He's announced as the hitter for Frazier. We're not sure. Frazier was on deck.
I thought Benavides.
Right. Right. Frazier was not scheduled to hit next, but he was out in the on-deck circle. So it's going to be Gardner pinch hitting now. And 262 his numbers at San Diego a year ago with a homer and 24 runs batted in. Pretty good contact hitter. The Expos just signed him late in spring training to a minor league deal, and he impressed them enough that he has made their club. That's ball one. Gardner, 30 years old. And as a leadoff man last year, he hit very well, 301 with San Diego. He had been with the Mets earlier in his career. It's 2-0. Todd Jones having a problem. Scott Service is on his way to the mound.
He hasn't been close, Bill, and Mel Stottlemyre will go out and have a few words with Jones either. He's the one that Cordero bunted at, and then the bunt that he got down have been the only two pitches that Jones has been close to the plate.
Now Mitch Williams is headed for the bullpen mound in a hurry. Two balls and no strikes on Gardner with one out. Sean Berry is on deck. It's 3-0. There have been 2 walks by Houston pitchers today. Fletcher has drawn both. Strike makes it 3-1 to Gardner.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good call.
Gardner consistently throughout the minors drew more walks than strikeouts in 7 of his 8 minor league years, so he's not going to swing generally at too many bad pitches. There's a good pitch for strike 2. Had some kind of movement on it. He's making a comeback. (3-3) game. Todd Jones needs this pitch, but does not want to lay it in there for Gardner. Foul ball. This battle continues. It was one of those pickups, and Felipe Alou saw him in a B game, liked him very much, said we'll send him back to minor league camp, but take a look at him again. And every now and then there's a story like that in a big league club's spring camp, just an unheralded player who makes it.
Now, managers are very familiar with what they've got in their farm system too, and
a little short on left-handed hitters, and he is walking. Second walk of the inning.
I'll tell you, walks kill you anytime, but in late inning situations, they are a killer. Now, you got the 2 runners on represent walks by Jones. So now he's going to really have to pitch double tough to get out of this.
Sean Berry launched a 2-run homer in the second. He's 1 for 3.
Ideally, of course, Jones would like to throw a double play ball here.
Randy Milligan's on deck. Mitch Williams in the bullpen. He goes to the breaking pitch for strike 1.
Well, that's usually a pretty good pitch when you're having trouble with your control. Sometimes a catcher will call that breaking pitch. You take a little off of it, have to spin it. Now maybe he can go back to fastball. Let's see.
But he can't locate it.
Just up too, yeah, he's too high. It looks like he's standing up coming out of his stretch. It looked like he's really getting down on the ball.
Todd, with his first opening day here on the Astros roster, was recalled to the major leagues for the first time last July when Greg Swindell was on the disabled list. pitch works again for him, and it's 1-2.
Well, let's stay with that.
Well, if you're Sean Berry,
you'll be looking for it now, so maybe you can bust him up and in with a fastball. But he's got a good breaking pitch. See how he stays down on that breaking pitch, but he's coming up out of the fastball a little bit.
Berry pokes it. Bagwell with a stop, gets it out to Cedeno. Back to Todd Jones, safe at first.
There's another mental mistake by Todd. He didn't get over to first base fast enough. He got a late start. So he's really not helping himself out at all with a couple of walks, and then he just went to sleep on that ball. It was hit to the right side, and automatically you've got to go to first. And he hesitated just enough to where the runner beat him to the bag. Now see, he's standing there. He's not moving to first. Now all of a sudden he realizes that he's got to go cover the bag, and Berry beats him there. Berry may have beat it anyway, but the hesitation on Todd's part hurt him. So now you got a base open.
And now Milligan is next. Grissom on deck. We mentioned earlier that Milligan knows the strike zone well. He'll probably be taking this first pitch with Todd struggling to throw strikes here. He struck out in the 8th. Nope, hitting, and Cedeno gets it on to Biggio for the force. That ends the top of the 10th. No runs, no hits, 2 left. Bottom of the 10th coming. Montreal 3, Houston 3.
Montreal and Houston locked in a 3-3 tie going into the bottom of the 10th inning. John Wetland back out on the mound, and Gardner will stay in and play second base. So that's the third second baseman used by Felipe Alou, and Tim Spear will stay in to catch. He will be behind the plate. So John Wetland now in the bottom of the 10th. Biggio will lead it off, followed by Bagwell and Gonzalez as the Astros go for the win here in the 10th.
Well, Bill, earlier you talked about Biggio's fantastic success against Wetland, and he does have a very good track record against John. Biggio's 2 for 3 with a walk in this game. There's a foul ball on the check swing liner, strike 1. Biggio hit a grand slam off Wetland several years ago.
He's got a couple of home runs off of him.
He is 5 for 11 against John. And also he's walked 3 times. In their first meeting back in June of '89 here in the Dome, he launched a homer. So 1-1.
Of course, being a leadoff hitter all of last season, a good guy to have leading off the 10th. And maybe he can get a walk or just anything to get on first base.
Big curve misses. 2 balls and a strike.
That's one of those curves that even fool the umpire. You know that you've got to stay with that curve ball a long time, because look at the big arc in this one. Wow.
2-1. Biggio gets underneath it, pops it up. Sean Berry, Tim Spear. Spear. 1 out. The Expos using a lot of players in this game, and the bench is going to be getting rather thin pretty soon at this rate. Rondell White still available, and Lenny Webster, a third catcher, is still available. Let's go back. And Jeff Bagwell in the 5th inning tied it. It's still tied at 3 ever since. There's strike 1. Bagwell 2 for 4. The Astros have out-hit Montreal 10-4. Houston has stranded 8. And Montreal has left only 3. It's a ball and a strike. Oh, when you analyze Wetland's numbers after missing almost the entire month of April with that broken toe, he really had a phenomenal year last year.
Yeah, he did, and he was stronger at the end of the season. Maybe missing that first month helped him.
Bagwell with a slow bouncer hits it foul. 1-2.
You can tell the way they're pitching Bagwell. They don't want any late inning heroics with another home run. They pitched him on the outside part of the plate, and that pitch was down low. In this situation, you'd almost be willing to give up a base hit if you had to Bagwell, but keep the ball in the ballpark.
They are still guarding the lines at third and first. Bagwell on the sliders, down on strikes. 2 strikeouts now among the 3 batters Wetland has faced. Here's quite a pitch.
Well, he threw him a fastball, he threw him a curveball, and then I imagine that slider's right around 88 miles per hour.
Tough.
Yeah, so what are you going to say? You just say, wow.
Wow is right. Luis Gonzalez is 0 for 4. Fastball right there, strike 1.
Well, it's got to be a good warm feeling for a manager to give the ball to a closer like this Wetland, because he is overpowering.
They got that last pitch at 94 miles per hour. Gonzalez foul ball to make it 0-2. It's hard to catch up with Wetland with that combination.
Well, take Luis, for example. He was sitting on that pitch. He got what he was thinking he was going to get, and that's a fastball. But the best he could do is foul it into the left field seats down the left field line. So getting around on this guy. And then, of course, then he'll pop a big curve off, and he'll break a rib trying to hold up.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3-3, last of the 10th. Nobody on. 1-2. Baseball back on HSE for another year, and what a way to ring it in, Bill.
Oh, if they're all like this one, we're going to have a heck of a season.
We are. It'll be a cardiac kind of a year. Gonzalez loops one. Gardner over to send the game to the 11th, tied at 3. It's Montreal 3, Houston 3, the 11th inning getting underway with Marquise Grissom going around. That's strike 1. Grissom is 1 for 4. He'll be followed by Rondell White. White is in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for John Wetland. Lou Frazier due up third in this 3-3 game. Montreal got 3 hits in the second. Has had only 1 8th inning single since. Now Todd Jones is bracketing his fastball, and it's 0-2. Got Randy Milligan on the fastball to get out of a jam in the 10th inning with 2 men aboard. It's a ball and 2 strikes. The Astros have Caminetti, Service, and Cedeno due up in the bottom of the frame. Mitch Williams just standing now in the Houston bullpen watching Todd Jones work. And he gets him on strikes, 1 out. The Astros pitchers have done one tremendous job against the top 3 of the Montreal order. And now we have a pinch hitter, Rondell White. White is among the many talented young players turned out by the Expos farm system. He had some brief major league work at the end of last year, and the Expos liked what they saw from this 22-year-old. Here's strike 1. White hit a long home run into the pavilion in left center field here against the Astros in September. That was his first major league homer. He went on to hit another, and he drove in 15 with 73 at bats. Caminetti gets it on a big hop. There's a big out because White also can run. 2 outs now.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate. Cammy came up throwing, and he came up throwing with his good stuff.
He's had a little shoulder soreness in spring training, but he's worked through that. 2 outs now. Lou Frazier due up next. The Astros are not winning the game, but they're winning the battle of the bench players anyway. Felipe Alou is down to one player remaining on his bench, Lenny Webster. And several are remaining for Terry Collins. That's strike one to Frazier, who used to be Astros property. He was in their farm system. 286 last year in 189 at-bats for Montreal, a handyman. The Astros drafted him and then traded him to Detroit for Doug Strange in 1990. He was a minor league free agent when Montreal signed him just about a year ago. That was hit hard, and it's 0-2.
Well, you got to be awake in that on-deck circle.
Larry Walker's just a few feet away. There's the manager, Felipe Alou, and his bench coach, Tim Johnson.
Well, Walker used to be a goalie, didn't he?
Sure did.
Well, you could tell.
Yeah.
That was a great stop.
Stick save on that one.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't have his glove in.
No balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 11th, and it's tied at 3. Hope you'll stay with us here on HSE. It's 1-2. Jones in his second inning of work. Pitcher spot could come up 4th. And he gets a jam shot from Frazier, who fights it off to stay alive at a ball and 2 strikes. Lou's a switch hitter. He's been a little more potent as a right-handed batter. Native of St. Louis. And quite a year for the Astros at Osceola in 1988. Walked 90 times that year. Fouls this one away. Still 1-2. If the Expos can get Frazier aboard, they might put him in motion. Of course, they'll have Walker at the plate, so probably not. But Frazier has very good speed.
No, I don't think Jones wants to get that far, Bill. I think you really want to go after Frazier. Frazier can't take you downtown. Walker can. You don't want any extra base hits either with Walker up there. So this is the man you want, especially when you're ahead 1-2 in the count.
And inside it comes. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The advantage Todd has this time, however, is when the last inning he was starting behind in all of the hitters. Now he's been up on Frazier, so he's able to get away with a couple of those pitches. He's had a pretty good breaking pitch. I wonder if he'd try to backdoor him here. He said, nope, I'm not. I'm coming with a heat.
Shook it off, whatever it was. Yep, he did come with a heat. You had him figured on that one, Bill. You pitchers all think alike.
Well, he knows he's got a good fastball. In fact, I think he had such a good fastball that first inning, he couldn't get it in the strike zone. He was overthrowing maybe a little bit, but he's had a couple of days rest, and he knows his arm, and probably feels real good out there. Feels like he can throw a fastball by Frazier. Sometimes with a hitter, not a good hitter, might be sitting on the breaking pitch rather than the fastball.
Another one, and the battle continues. It's just, here it is, try to hit it.
Yeah, he can't hit it, but he at least can foul it off.
The Astros bullpen has certainly had its up and down years the last couple of years. In '92 was among the strongest around. And last year, the bullpen won 13, lost 24. Little chopper, Scott Service on a fair ball, makes a fine throw to get him. That's the 11th inning for Montreal. Houston's half coming up. It's tied at 3.
Top of the 12th inning here in the Astrodome, and finally Mitch Williams has made his first appearance in a regular season game for the Houston Astros, and the Wild Thing number 99 is in the game here in the 12th inning.
The last pitch he threw when it counted was for a game-winning World Series homer. 43 saves, though, leading up to that. 3 wins and 7 losses for the Phillies last year. He faces Larry Walker in the 12th and throws a strike. Eddie Taubensee is in the game to catch. He's batting 7th. Mitch Williams batting 9th. It's 0-2 to Walker. That probably is the biggest surprise today.
Well, it definitely is to Walker because he was up there taking both pitches. And I'm sure that was what he talked about when he walked up there was take a strike. He took 2.
And now he swings at a third.
Wow. Well, talk about helping a guy out. Walker certainly did that, and this is very un-Walker-like, isn't it? He's a very disciplined hitter. But he took 2 strikes to get behind, and then you really have to try to protect that plate. And he just wants to forget about that at bat.
8 strikeouts now for Astros pitching. Tim Spear is next for his first at bat. He takes a strike.
Oh, changeup.
Mitch's last outing gave him the loss Saturday afternoon against the Padres. Gave up a game-winning hit in the bottom of the 9th. 0-2, but that was without all the adrenaline that comes from pitching in an opening day game that counts.
90 miles an hour on the radar gun.
He's picked up about 5.
Yes, he has. And that's what their concern was in spring training. He wasn't throwing hard enough, Bill, but that's spring training.
Cedeno. 2 outs. Nice play, moving to his right.
He's got that whiplash. You keep waiting. You want him to hurry and throw it. But once he does throw it, he's got a lot on the ball. He's got that good live arm from shortstop, and he just whips it over there. But here's the live arm they're concerned about, and so far he's throwing very well.
Cordero, the shortstop, has driven in a run. He's 1 for 3. Strike 1.
And the crowd loves it, don't they? They're right on every pitch he throws.
Hop back, out of play. It's 0-2. Mitch Williams has stood and confronted everybody from the media who wanted to talk about losing the World Series this spring.
I didn't even know him that well at Philadelphia, but I really respected the way he handled that situation.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fly ball could be in play. Bagwell's going to see. Nope. About 3 rows back.
Has he thrown a ball yet?
He is not. Walker swung at the.
It would have been a ball, right. But it was strike 3. That's right. So he has not. He's come in and thrown strikes on every pitch.
What a difference an opening day makes.
Well, he'd probably tell you this is for real, guys. I didn't have anything to prove in spring training.
No balls, 2 strikes. There's his first call ball. 1-2.
And it was a good one to have one on because you're ahead 0-2 in the count. See if you can get him to go on something out of the strike zone.
Walked 10 and fanned 11 in spring training in 16 innings. That's a weak ground ball foul to keep Cordero alive at 1-2. Mitch had 2 wins, 2 losses, no saves this spring. But 186 saves in his career. Two and 2. The top of the order is due up for Houston in the 12th. Pete Harnisch went the first 7, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, all in the 2nd inning. Montreal has been shut out for the last 9 2/3. That's into left field for a hit. Cordero had a nice plate appearance and turned it into a single. The Expos have life here in the 12th with Jeff Gardner batting.
It's like a changeup to me that he got, or a breaking pitch up in the strike zone. So he was wild out of the strike zone on that particular delivery and got burned for it. So now you got to come right after Gardner.
Cordero might be thinking of running. Many players do with Mitch on the mound.
Got that big wind-up, off-balance delivery to the plate.
That's ball 1 to Gardner. Gardner walked in the 10th inning. Mitch lives on the 3-2 ranch in Hico, Texas. The Astros, in making the trade with the Phillies, obtained a closer. No doubts about it. Mitch is the closer on the club. And they gave up Jeff Juden, a promising young right-hander, and Doug Jones.
You know what they're calling Doug in Philadelphia?
What?
Mile thing.
Oh, that sense of humor.
Only in baseball, right?
Well, the Wild thing goes to work in a Houston uniform.
That kind of fits Doug.
It's gone from that right-hander Doug Jones to Mitch Williams as a closer in 1 year. Line drive left field. That's in for a hit. Gonzalez takes it and throws toward third.
Well, here we go again. As advertised.
Never dull. 2 on and 2 outs now for Sean Berry. Berry homered in the second. He's 1 for 4. Harry Collins checking the positioning of his outfielders. Finley moved straight away to center. That's ball 1 to Berry. Berry has been a hero already today. Now with a chance to really be the major hero of this game. He had a chance also in the 10th inning. Jones got him to bounce into a force play. Pick-off play at second, and that has worked for Mitch a couple of times this spring. Off the mid of Taubensee, the runners move up. Sean Berry had to jackknife out of the way, and Taubensee tried to stab it, reaching out to his left.
I don't know whether he got fooled by that pitch, whether he was crossed up or what. He set up there. Yeah, the pitch came way inside on him.
It's a wild pitch.
Wild pitch.
Now we're getting a conflicting ruling, a pass ball. We'll have to make sure that is the correct ruling.
I don't think there was any way Taubensee could have caught that. It did hit his glove, and of course a lot of official scores then will give the pitcher the benefit of the doubt when the catcher does get leather on it.
It's 3-0. Randy Milligan is on deck. The inning started very well for Mitch. Now there's trouble. Base is loaded on the walk. And Milligan, who's 0 for 2, has that selectivity at the plate we talked about earlier.
Well, he promised Terry Collins he might have him smoking before the season was over.
They are loaded. Cordero at third, Gardner at second, and Berry at first. 2 outs. Game tied at 3 in the 12th. That's what he needed, a slider for a strike.
Just took something off of it.
And that time Milligan did take the first pitch.
Yeah, he was, and not a bad idea when a guy's struggling a little bit.
Of course, Rangers fans watch the debut of Mitch Williams as he came to the majors in 1986 with 80 appearances. He had to spear that one out to his right. It's 1-1. He likes to work often. Now, he's been given a regular dosage of work this spring. He missed 4 days with the arthroscopic knee surgery to his right knee, but still got a lot of work. Two and one.
Well, it looks like about the only thing he's getting over is the slow stuff. And if he has to go back to it, Milligan's had a good look at it.
He's thrown a lot of pitches here in the 12th inning. 3-1. Now big trouble.
25 pitches already.
.32-year-old Randy Milligan has a career on-base average of .393. He's up in the count, 3-1 as he calls time.
Well, you taking here in this situation? I think I would be.
Probably. Ball 4. The Expos take the lead. 4-3 as Milligan gets the RBI on the bases loaded walk. Pitch. Moved runners up to second and third, then the walk, loaded the bases. Now a second straight walk.
Well, it was close, but there wasn't any way Milligan was going to be swinging at this pitch. There you see how off balance Williams is. Now it's hard to talk about anything orthodox with this guy because he's been so unorthodox his entire career and gotten by with it for the most part. But you wouldn't want to teach that kind of form to any youngster trying to learn how to pitch because it's just hard to get the ball over the plate when you're all spread out.
Tom Edens is now working in the Houston bullpen. Marquise Grissom the batter. That's ball 1 to Grissom. Grissom's 1 for 5. Mitch Williams got the first 2 outs in this inning. It's 2-0. Chance with the Astros coming up with the top of the order in the bottom of half, of course, of this inning, that they can tie it if they trail by only 1. Fairly decent chance. They don't want to be behind by any more than that. 2-2. He goes to 3-2. The runners are on the move. That's fouled away. Well, the Expos have finally broken through. They were shut out from the 2nd through the 11th. That 9-inning shutout string by Houston pitching coming to an end. That was close, and it was called ball 3. 3-2, 2 outs. The runners move now.
Well, again, it is a good pitch. If you're a control pitcher and you're known to be down there and get that for a strike, sometimes you will get it. But if you're wild and have that reputation, you won't get that pitch.
And fouled off.
McSherry's one of the best umpires in the business.
Mitch had to come up with that pitch, and it was right there in the middle of the zone for Grissom.
Yeah, you know, you have to take so many pitches when you face this guy, though. Sometimes you're not ready to swing.
Another 3-2 with 2 outs, and it's ball 4. A second straight run walks in to make it 5-3. 3 walks in a row, and Terry Collins is making his own walk. He has Tom Edens, and Edens will get the baseball. Most disappointing, no one any more disappointed than number 99 as he walks off the mound.
Well, the Phillies fans can tell you they've seen this for years. You know, he'll have some games like this. The only thing the Astros can hope for is that he comes up with those 40 saves that he also mixes in with some of these games.
It's Montreal 5, Houston 3, top of the 12th. We'll be right back. It's a 5-3 lead for Montreal. The Expos had not scored since the second. Now they've put 2 runs up in the 12th. Bases loaded. Tom Eden's coming in with 2 outs, with Rondell White batting next, and Eden's has had good control. Has very little room for error in this situation.
Well, Williams on the 3-2 pitch, and Grissom not trying to help him out, and that ball was way off. And as soon as that ball gets to the mitt, Collins is out of that dugout. Of course, I'm sure he knew coming into this season exactly what he was getting. They talked about it before they made the deal.
He sure did. Tom Eden's last year was in 38 games, had a 3.12 ERA, has had a good spring with nice control. 49 innings of work a year ago, limited by a shoulder strain from spring training, which put him on the disabled list at the start of last season. Rondell White grounded out in the 11th inning in his first at bat. That's ball 1. He's the 8th man to bat here in the 12th inning, and now another right-hander gets loose in the pen. That's Jeff Shaw. There's a strike to make it 1-1.
Ball hard, kid.
Foul ball. Eden's got White to go for it, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, now with the bullpen pecking order being changed a little bit without Xavier Hernandez, Eden's and Todd Jones may come in for more work this year.
I think so, Bill. I think you see the importance of having that strong bullpen too, and why a lot of people like the Expos.
Robinson steps on the plate. That is the force out on the strikeout to end the inning. It was a curveball in the dirt, and the fact that he stepped on the plate meant he didn't have to throw down to first or tag White. So in the 12th inning, the Expos get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 3. They lead it 5-3.
Bottom of the 12th inning, Montreal leading it 5-3, and this could be the last at bat for Houston. Today's Texaco star of the game is James Mouton, who so far is 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, a single, and a stolen base, and some excellent plays in the outfield. So an outstanding debut for that young rookie. And he certainly has shown us that got to keep an eye on him this season. Could have an exciting campaign.
He has his eye on the right-handed pitcher Tim Scott, who's trying to be the winning pitcher and also end this game here in the 12th inning. Mouton has 2 doubles and a single, as you just saw, and now the Astros are hoping he can reach base a 4th time, with Finley and Biggio to follow. The Expos sent 8 men to the plate in their half of the 12th. Sean Berry's in tight at third to take away the bunt. That's strike 1. Scott endured a 1-out walk in the 11th inning. Pinch runner Andy Stankiewicz stole second, and then he whipped Cedeno and Pettagini. Montreal bullpen was very strong last year and has been again today. It's 0-2. Jeff Passero went the first 6. Gave up 1 4th inning tally and 2 in the 5th, and since then the Astros have been stymied.
You know they have Wetland, who's one of the best closers in the business, but when you got Scott and Rojas, you got a couple of other closers. who can also fill in, you know, and get you to that closing position. So that's a real strength to have, and that's why I think Montreal could seriously contend over in that other division, even though they've got Atlanta and Philadelphia over there. That's the strongest division going.
It's very strong. Lefty and a righty now throwing in the Expos bullpen. Their only lefty reliever for this game, Denny Boucher, and the right-hander Shaw. And tight, 1-2. Lucero, Rojas, Wetland have preceded Scott to the mound. The Astros have stranded 9. We've seen a lot of very good fastballs from Scott, but his breaking pitch has been erratic today.
Yeah, but when you got that kind of heater, who cares, huh?
You know, especially in a big stadium like this, Bill.
Yeah, that's right, because and we've seen some drives run down today. Keep it in the ballpark here.
Inside to Mouton, and he's gone to 3-2.
And again, Mouton has worked the count out to his favor, and he's done this now. This is the third at bat that he's been behind in the count early and worked it out to where he gets a pretty good pitch to hit. That impresses me.
It really does.
If he shows this kind of patience, he's going to be an excellent hitter in this league for years to come.
Tying run on base. Steve Finley is next. Felipe Alou has a lefty and a right-hander. But he also has a 2-run lead. Finley's 1 for 4 with a sac bunt. Berry plays him in tight at third. Gardner and Cordero double play depth, with Milligan holding the runner Mouton. Mouton stole a base in the third. Line shot. That's a hit into center. First and second, nobody out for the Astros. Finley gets his second single.
You've been talking about it, the fact that he doesn't have a good breaking pitch, so he starts him out with a fastball, and Finley's sitting on it. So here comes Felipe, and I think he's going to go to Jeff Shaw.
You're right. He wants the right-hander. Scott leaves after 1 inning plus. But Alou has been a magician at working with the bullpen. And certainly he seemed to have that magical touch last year, Bill, of when to take one pitcher out and which one to bring in. Now, once again, he makes a pitching move in this game.
Well, when you have as many good pitchers as he has, sometimes that can make you look good, too. He's got some quality arms in that bullpen, so either way he goes usually is a pretty good call.
Well, with 2 men on, the Astros are stirring up trouble here in the bottom of the 12th. They trail it 5-3 with nobody out, and we'll be right back. Montreal leads it 5-3 in the last of the 12th, but the Astros have 2 men on base with nobody out. Jeff Shaw comes into the game. He was 2-7 with a 4.14 ERA last year for Montreal in 55 games and had a heavy workload, Bill.
Yeah, he did. He set personal highs in just about every category. He's another one of those guys that likes to work.
Biggio has 2 hits. The Expos are pinching in on him. He's showing bunt. Pickoff play at second. Mouton back ahead of that 1-hop throw.
I'm telling you what, if that ball doesn't hop, if he's able to get it down there just a little quicker, he's got himself Mouton's dead duck. Now see, he slips going back. And they thought they had him on the bag, but he already had his hand on the bag.
Close. The Expos with Milligan in tight and Berry in tight are expecting Biggio to put down a bunt. Mouton wants to make sure he can get every bit of his lead at second. Biggio fouls the bunt try, and it's 0-2 now.
Well, who would have thunk it, but getting down a bunt has been the nemesis for Houston in this game. The inability to get a bunt down when they wanted one. Well, sometimes if a guy can't get a bunt down, he comes back with an extra base hit. Let's hope that's the case here.
No balls and 2 strikes. Shaw was in only 1 game last year against the Astros. Gave up a home run to Gonzalez. And he gets Biggio. 1 out.
I'm really surprised because Craig is normally a very dependable bunter, one of the best on the team, and he just couldn't come up with it, and then that allows Shaw with 2 strikes to throw him a pretty mean slider.
Now meeting at the mound has brought Gardner in from second, and the catcher Spear out. Shaw looking out at his shortstop Cordero, and second baseman Gardner now.
That's a tough dilemma because you got a guy up there that can, if you make a mistake, he can hit one out with one arm. So you don't want to give up the 3-run homer in this situation, but it's hard to pitch around a guy like this and load the bases.
Bagwell homered in the 5th. He singled in the 4th. He's 2 for 5. The Astros have not been able to score since his line drive homer. That's strike 1.
You know, if you're Shaw, you'd like to pitch around Bagwell, but you don't want to put that tying run on second. Well, everybody's watching.
No balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 5-3 Montreal in the 12th. It was close, 1-1. Shaw, a native of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, came to the majors first of all with Cleveland in 1990. His major league debut, he gave up 4 homers in 5 1/3 innings. Shaw in his career has 1 save, and he's in a save situation. Got that save in 1991 with Cleveland. Again, he missed. 2-1.
Well, but that's where you want to pitch Bagwell. If you're going to come inside, you've got to come inside. And I'll punctuate that word, inside. And that's what Shaw did. If it's a little bit more over the plate, Bagwell will take it all the way to Pasadena.
2 balls, a strike, 1 out, 2 on.
Oh, what a slider. He's got a nice slider, doesn't he?
Several good ones.
But the 2 inside pitches set this up. So he's doing a great job of pitching. Now you've really got Bagwell wondering where you're going to go. A slider like that, I'd come back with that.
Bagwell grounds one into left field. Mouton's coming home. And the throw will be cut off. It's now 5-4. Bagwell gets his 3rd run batted in. Finley went to second.
There was another way you could get Bagwell back to the plate. Here came the slider again in almost the same spot. But this time, because he'd seen that good one and missed it, and not much arm out there in left field. And with Mouton's speed, there's no chance to get him, so they're just trying to keep the runner at second. And now we will go to the left-hander with Gonzalez due up to the plate.
Denny Boucher will be the 5th reliever to see action for Montreal in this game. He is down to start, as we mentioned earlier, for the Expos on the 12th of this month in another 8 days. And until then, he's to be the only left-hander in the bullpen. Of course, Montreal could always use Kirk Reeder if necessary, but he's down to start Wednesday night. Oh, it's that rarity, that rare day in baseball when just about every pitcher is rested and available, Bill.
Well, I don't think Felipe is worried about any games down the line. He's hung in there long enough. He's used everybody on his team, so he'll use everybody he has to try to win this one. Made his major league debut for the Blue Jays before being dealt on to the Indians. Came to the Expos from San Diego last August, and then a minor league trade. And Boucher now. The only problem with him, as you look at the stats, he's given up 22 homers in 25 big league games. That's not a good ratio.
Well, you see from his spring numbers, working 18 innings, and all 7 of those games were in relief. Boucher worked his way onto this club, and well, the Expos were very glad to get him in that deal you talked about last year, because he's a Montreal native, and that's a rarity. They feel that he will be a huge drawing card when he pitches at Olympic Stadium.
Montreal native that the Toronto Blue Jays were able to get.
Right. They tried to work a deal with Toronto when he was with the Blue Jays. No doing, and now here he is around the horn in a save situation. We mentioned that Gonzalez had homered off Shaw, so that's another thing that hastened the removal of Jeff. And lefty against lefty. Well, last year was a breakthrough year for Gonzo. He proved he could hit left-handed pitching. He is hitless in this game. He's 0 for 5. The Astros are getting their first look at Boucher. Yes, it's been a 4-game opening day losing streak for Houston. Gonzalez trying to avert a 5th straight. 5-4. Finley is the runner at second, and Bagwell at first with 1 out. Tapped foul, strike 1. Boucher, in his brief career in the majors, has an ERA of 5.23. He's walked 47 in 127 innings. Not too bad control. But the home run ball that Bill mentioned has been a major nemesis for him. Last year he showed signs, very good signs, of pitching well. It's 0-2.
Well, he did a good job of taking a little off of that breaking pitch, getting it down and away from Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to pull that rather than go the other way. Now with 2 strikes, Luis changes and becomes a contact hitter. He'll be trying to go anywhere this ball is pitched. And of course, Boucher would love to pitch one down and get the double play ball.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Strike 3 call.
Man.
And the Astros are down to their final out. Ken Caminetti coming up.
Throwing him 2 curveballs, and now they come back down and low. And that's almost the same location Mitch Williams had one earlier. They got called a ball, but remember at the time I told you that he has the reputation of being wild, of course, and Boucher got the call that time at the knee.
Eddie Taubensee is on deck. Caminetti the batter. Ken is hitless today. He has not seen a lot of left-handed pitching in spring training this year. Strikes 1 to left center. Let's see if he can get it in there for extra bases. It's off the wall. Finley scoring. Bagwell is coming home with a winning run. And the Astros have won it. 6-5. Ken Caminetti in his 6th straight opening day starting lineup wins it 6-5 with a 2-out, 2-run 12th inning double. since the 5th inning. Mitch Williams walked in 2 runs in the top of the 12th. And Tom Edens will get the win as Caminetti rescues this one.
Boy, Bill, that ball came just a fraction of going out of here for a home run. But where it hit did the job for Houston. What a performance, and Terry Collins couldn't be happier. What a way to win your first game as a Major League manager.
The electricity is here in the Astrodome. A Caminetti wink. All the years of experience paying off. And now the Astros have broken that 4-game losing streak in openers in the most dramatic of ways. They've won it in the last of the 12, 6-5.
Houston Astros baseball on HSE has been brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher for that deep down body thirst. Nothing works better than Gatorade. By your South Texas Dodge dealers. We're taking Texas by the horns. By your local Sherwin-Williams paint stores. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams, a participating sponsor of Major League Baseball. By Coors Light, aged ice cold for that taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now. By the Houston Post, take a time out with the sports leader. And by Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart.
There were 43,440 tickets sold. Many had hit the exits and many were on the way. And the Astros rescued it in the bottom of the 12th with a 2-out, 2-run double by Ken Caminetti, beating the Montreal Expos in a whale of an opener. Final score, Houston 6, Montreal 5 in the 12th. We hope you enjoyed it today here on HSE. The executive producer and director of Astros baseball on HSE is Mike Anastasiou. Today's game was produced by Margaret Krause. Technical director Mark Alsmeyer. Engineer in charge George McDaniel. Remote facilities provided by Sportscom. Our next telecast comes your way tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Kenny Hill and Doug Drabeck as the Expos and Astros collide again. Stay tuned. Coming up next, our abbreviated post-game report. Again, the final today. Hugs all around. Caminetti wins it for Houston in the 12th, 6-5. This has been another exclusive presentation of Home Sports Entertainment.